with
see.
Steve Hunsaker.
Let me see if I'm live here. Let me see on Twitter. Oh, it does say I'm live. I've never done that before.
I know.
That's neat.
I know.
Cool. All right. Yeah, we're good. We're rolling. Dude,
Well,
thanks for having me on.
Yeah, too bad you didn't share your thumbnail so that we could put a cool thumbnail on there. I'm just seeing your phone plus CRM costing you thousands right here.
Oh, that's my YouTube video I uploaded today.
What's that one about?
Your phone and CRM system are probably screwed up and you're not tracking and attributing leads correctly.
Snipey lead.
Yes and no. Like, it doesn't have to be Snipey lead, but it's actually more so a video about OpenPhone or Quo. Like, so like here, like this was, I guess we just dive. You want to just rip it from there?
Let's do it.
Yeah. So like one of the things that I like noticed was a manual process in our business was like inbound phone calls from paid traffic. And so like, for example, if I run a mailer and what's happening is like, if they scan the QR and go, it's easy, right? We already know where it came from. When they were calling in, it was a little bit more difficult. And so I had tracking numbers, but I wasn't like actually tracking it correctly. Like it was just like we were doing like a little ChatGPT data audit at the end of the month where like, you know, we would go into Snipey Lead or Jobber, we'd download all of the book jobs, and then we would search those phone numbers from like, okay, here's all the phones that called our postcards, and then here's all the ones that came from Facebook ads. And it was gross. Like if the people submit on a Facebook ad or they submit on a Google ad, like submit like first name, last name, email, it's cake. Where it was like more difficult was phone, but where it's really difficult is where it's they get your ad from somewhere and then they Google you, call your office line, and then tell your office line, like, yeah, I got a postcard, but they don't call that number. And so like, so for example, like Tina Smith gets a postcard. There's a forwarding number on there, but Tina Smith does what like a lot of educated buyers do, was she got the postcard and then she just Googled the company. And so now she's going through Google, but it's like, if that gets attributed to Google Maps, that's an incorrect lead attribution. Does that make sense?
Makes complete sense.
Yeah. And so I don't know if there's like, until you get like crazy enterprise level, like Service Titan filled out the entire system front and back, left, right, and forward, I think it's going to be a little manual. Like, but I mean, as long as I'm close enough, because like the difference with this is like a perfect example. Have you seen my Twitter threads about the postcard campaign we're doing?
Excuse me, dude. I've been off like the last 2 weeks. I
oh, good.
Deleted,
okay.
So sorry, Elon, but I deleted X from my phone just specifically because like I had 2 big pushes that I needed to make, and I was like, where can I get back extra time? So I haven't been on the last couple.
Yeah.
Weeks.
So one of them got like a decent amount of impressions or whatever you want to call it on X. And basically I flew out to Dope Marketing in Minnesota. I'd never talked to Dave, the owner, ever. I just like seen him around. I'd heard good things. He built that company into like a wagon. And so I was like, I've got a little YouTube audience now. Like maybe Dave will let me like just like fly out there and interview him and then like go look at them. Cause I'd been using Dope like for their yard signs, for their cookie boxes, all that stuff for a while. And so I just like DM'd him. He was like, dude, come on out. So me and Jake, my videographer, hopped on a plane like quite literally the next day. We flew out there and I looked at his whole operation, like front and back. And I was like, Dave, I think I'm like, it's not that I really need it, but I was like, it'd be really good content. And I think it would generate sales. So I was like, I'm going to go aggressive on your like neighborhood blitz postcard campaign thing. And so I made like a Twitter thread about it and I got like a couple 10,000 impressions, like a bunch of bookmarks. So like somebody was interested in it. And so basically what they do is like, I can go on their website and you give them like a starting address. So like for me, it was like Paradise Valley, Arizona is like the number one, like to show where the money's at. It's the number one Donald Trump campaign zip code in the entire US for per donation per individual. And so like, there's a lot of like rich billionaires there, whatever else. It's like this little zip code. And so there's like a lot of money there. And there's a lot of money that's like right-leaning Christian people who tend to really like Christmas. Like Christians, Mormons love Christmas lights. So it's like a very good audience for us. And so I'd done mailers in the past and I was like kind of disappointed. And Dave was like, oh, no. You got to go do the neighborhood blitz because you can sort. So like you give them a starting pin and then like you give them an address in Paradise Valley. So you just pick a random customer you've done lights for. And then you give them the address and it populates it on a map. And it says, okay, if you want to, you want to draw a shape. So then I draw a map around like a radius, and you can like drag the lines, whatever. And it'll tell you how many houses are going to get a postcard, right? But then you can be like, do I want to sort it by, does the house have a pool? Do I want to sort it by, does the house have a detached garage? Do I want to sort it by property value? Do I want to sort it by average income? And so for us, one of the things that Dave told me, so if anybody's listening and they're like thinking about doing mailers, this is super important. Don't ever buy data off of like average annual income, because people skew that number so much that the data is like not super accurate. Like you can fake average income, right? Like for example, I think in 2022, I showed the IRS that I made like 55K in the year. Now, I obviously made like a little bit more than that, but I depreciated like 2 or 3 vehicles or 1 or 2 vehicles that year, did a bunch of other stuff, like whatever else. Last year, I depreciated 3 vehicles. So like my income is going to show a little bit lower, but you can't fake the house value. Like you can't fake the square footage of a home you live in. And so like what I basically got it down to is every single home in that city in Paradise Valley that has a house that's bigger than 2,800 square feet or worth more than $1 million. But to be honest with you, every single house in that city is worth more than $1 million. So it didn't even matter. And so it came out to like 3,600 homes. And so then I made a Twitter thread that was like, okay, I'm going to do a 5 or 6 mailer drip of these same homes from October 1st all the way into mid-November. Oh, it says connection loss. Are we still good?
We're good.
Okay. So basically a weekly mailer from October 1st to mid-November. And so every single one just dripping the same people. And so it's like $2,500, $2,300 every single time I send them out, because it's about like 51 cents a mailer, something like that. So I'm sunk into it like $5,000. And like, this is one of those, like, you can talk about marketing volume and everything else till you're blue in the face and pricing and everything else. But like, dude, I sunk $5,500 into it before we made a single sale. So 2 rounds, and then we're like giving out quotes, but it's October. And so I know every single week getting closer to November, I'm not going to measure return on that investment in the first week or even the first month, because like all of these estimates we're giving in October, some of them are going to take 2, 3, 4 weeks to get to like show. And so I was like, because a lot of people were following the thread. I was like, damn, if this doesn't work, like I'm going to look like an idiot, because I was like gassing it up. And then we closed so we're $5,000 in. I just did the 3rd round, because this would be like the 3rd round would deliver this week, which would be the 3rd week of October. And we've closed like, I think 28,500 off of $5,000 in October. Now, keep in mind, my close rate for new business in October is 9%. So new business, not returners or referrals, like cold traffic, new business in October, we get murked in October. Like we cannot close new jobs in October for anything, because I refuse to drop my pricing. Like we run some promos, whatever else, but we tell them they have to get installed in October, which most people don't want to do anyway. And so for me to be like $5,000 in and I'm at like damn near a 6X in October, I'm like, oh, like this thing rips. So like that's like what's exciting me right now, because I think it's like but here's where like it all ties together. The reason why attribution is so important is like we got one of those jobs from the mailer, right? And then that guy goes, my sister-in-law also has a house in Paradise Valley. Would you like to go quote her? And so I think his job was like 13K and her job was like 9K. So that's 22,000 that was directly attributed to the postcards. But then it's like kind of a gray area where you're like, well, is the referral like, do I track the referral as, did that come from the postcard campaign or did that come from a referral or whatever else? In my mind, like I track that as coming from the postcards, because I would not have got that business if I didn't. But that's like the only kind of cheeky ones that I do that way. Everything else referral wise, we just kind of mark as like, this was a referral from a paying customer. But because the sales process was like same day, I just tracked both. So the reason that's so important is like that original postcard mailer just called the forwarding number on OpenPhone, and my office tracked it wrong, but I was able to go back and make sure that it was in a postcard, because can I share my screen?
Yeah.
Because like, if you look, I don't care if anybody sees this, the phone numbers, it's a public, I mean, my business's stuff is everywhere. But like one of my phone numbers is like the postcard mailer campaign. So if you see right here, this is a phone number, this 623-777 number. That phone number is only on our mailers. So anytime that phone number gets called, I know, okay, cool. Even if like my office screwed up and didn't mark it like, oh, this was a postcard, whatever else, or the person didn't scan the unique QR to go as a postcard, I can go back and like just download all my customer jobs at the end of the year and like clean up any scraps I missed, essentially. Because even if that guy got the postcard and gave his sister-in-law that forwarding number, she's going to call that forwarding number too. So it's all going to be tracked instantly in our CRM. Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense.
Yeah. So that's been kind of fun. I'm really interested to see what the postcard ROAS is in November, because like we go from like 9% close rate in October, and that's generous. Like it's bad, dude. Like I'm like constantly like trying to talk my salespeople off the ledge in October, and then in November it's like once the calendar hits like in the 20s, it's just like avalanche. Like we closed 6 this morning. So I'm like, guys, I told you, like it's coming, like just relax, it's coming, you know. But I get it. It's hard for them, man. It's really hard mentally to like give out 10 quotes. And I mean, technically 11 quotes and close 1. Like that's really hard. So anyway, that's what I'm dealing with right now. It's pretty difficult.
What have you done in the past for October? All paid ads?
Yeah, same thing. Like I'll eat it. I'll eat it in October, because what happens is like, and I don't know how many guys are in Christmas Lights that are watching this. I'm quite a few if I'm live streaming, probably quite a bit. But the interesting thing that you have to remember, and like every year I tell myself this and I tell my team this, but then when you're in it, you're like, damn, dude, this sucks. Is like the bad companies go in October and September, and they go in at like $5, $6 a foot, and they fill their schedules. And then we're like, I will not negotiate with terrorists. Like I will not do this. Like I will not drop my pricing just to see like shots go through the hoop, because I know my margins. And like, dude, I got a lot of mouths to feed now, and like a lot of leadership mouths to feed. And like, I know the math, like even at $10, $11 a foot on roof lines. And like, if I'm buying strands for trees for like $697 or $750 a strand and installing them for $52, like I am lucky at the end of this year if I'm at 25 to 29% net, like even at that pricing. And so like, I just got a lot of mouths, dude. Like I got a lot of leadership positions to feed, and like a lot of people's families to feed. And so like, it's very tempting to be like, oh, I can just fill the schedule in October. But like, I know the math. Like I know I can't do it, because then what's going to happen is they're going to want that pricing next year again. And then it's like, I'm fighting a very, very much an uphill battle. So I can't do it. But yeah, man, it's been really difficult this year, because like this is such a new problem for me. But like we created like a super team for installs this year. Like our guys, like we have 5 dudes who can run crews, like 5 crew leads, and 5 of them are dogs. Like I could throw them at anything and be like, but the reason we got it is we were able to promise people 3.5 months of work now, because we started installing in September. And so we did a campaign where we convinced a lot of our returners to let us install in September, and then quite a few to let us install in October. But what ended up happening to me, and like, I'm okay to admit that I was probably wrong. Like we installed a week early. We started installing 1 week too early, because I like to run 6 to 7 days a week. But what happened is like, I ran out of jobs in October. So I had to pull weekend jobs off and fill the weekdays, because this crew of dogs that I promised 3.5 to 4 months of work a year, like I cannot go to them from October 19th to the 31st and say like, hey fellas, went too fast. No feeding your families for 11 days. Come back on November 1st. So we had to like slow down, and like, that's been really stressful for me. But like, I don't really know what the alternative is, because like we could have started a week early or a week later, and that probably would have alleviated a lot of the stress. But like the built-in seasonality of like what the market deems to be Christmas time versus what we as Valley Christmas deems to be Christmas time are 2 completely different things. And so that's been difficult, but that's kind of what I've been up to these days.
It's crazy to make your money in a couple of months.
Yeah. It says like I tweeted about this yesterday, like all of my profit comes in November, like all of it. Like this is the earliest I've ever zeroed out all the Amexes and Capital Ones and like bought product and everything. But like, dude, I have like in the business, like maybe 150K in the bank. Like that's pretty low for like what we need to do. Like we need to be that number needs to be, for me to like sleep at night, that number in November needs to be like 680, 70 or 700 at that time. And then like tear down payrolls happen. That's probably, I don't know, 80 to 100K in sunk payroll to begin 2026. Like all my commissions, my closers, my bonuses, my car insurance, my truck payments for the rest of the year, my rent for the rest of the year. Like, dude, if like it comes so fast, and like it is forever stressful. And every year I think I have a better system. I do, but then every year the business gets bigger and I'm like, oh, that's broken now. Okay, great. Fantastic. That's a broken system now. Great. New problem. Now we're too good at installing, and now I got to find jobs for my guys. That's a new problem. So it's been fun. It's been fun, Austin. It's been very fun.
It never stops.
No, dude. And I get you have seasonality in your business too, so you probably deal with something similar.
Yeah, I do. So a lot of the stuff that I was resonating with, whenever we kick off our season, I was saying the same thing. I'm like, had a certain, and ours was kicking off right after election time here.
Mm-hmm.
So people were just like holding on to cash. They weren't pulling. May came around. Usually May comes around and we start booking jobs for June because we have snow on the ground 5 months out of the year. We can't start doing forestry and clearing work literally until June.
Right.
It doesn't dry out enough. So May is good. Usually like we start booking stuff. I brought my sales guy back on full time middle of the winter to start selling because I was going to run ads. This year it's just like crickets in May. And I'm like, what is going on? Because the last 2 years, May has been steady, booking up for June and July.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it just happened in June, and it went gangbusters. So I do want to clarify, like some of the people who are listening on my podcast, we've got Steve's going live too. Steve, he's got a Christmas light business, makes all his money in a couple years, in a couple months out of the year. Steve is incredible at running paid ads. He's also incredible at building systems. And so every time Steve and I jump on, it's like we just jam on multiple different things on marketing systems. So for some of you who are in land clearing or in the forestry side wondering, why the heck are we talking Christmas lights if you're listening on my stuff? It's because all this stuff is relatable.
It's all the same.
It's all the same.
All of the principles are the exact same. Like in pretty much any, like the customer acquisition and like the customer acquisition side and like the lead follow-up side and everything else. And even like a lot of the sales nurturing side is pretty much identical across all home services. The only thing that gets different is like job estimation and job costing and stuff like that. But like, I don't really get in the weeds in that stuff anyway. So most of the stuff you and I talk about is pretty applicable across the board.
It is. And the thing I love about you is it's traditionally a lower ticket item, but you figured out a way to stick to a higher ticket offer to make paid acquisition work.
Yeah. And like, it's painful, but like it's the right model. Like I've seen quite a few businesses come and go over the years because all they focus on is in the lighting business, like, because all they focus on is the top line. And then it's like, yeah, dude, those numbers look good. Like when you're selling a $1,500 Christmas light install and a $2,000 Christmas light install, you think you're balling until workman's comp starts coming and product cost is a little bit higher than you think. And commissions for sales guys start coming. And then I need a vehicle. And then I need commercial vehicle to get this commercial job close. And then I go get a commercial vehicle, and pretty soon these guys that were charging, they're buying product and doing a 4X markup on the product thing. Like, oh, 25% product cost. I'm rich. You are not. Like, you are not. Like it goes quick. So it's been difficult, man. It's been fun, but like every year it's still very stressful. So it is fun to jam with you because I like that you're going through a similar thing.
Well, you were asking before we jumped on live, and we knew we just had to hit live because we always have a million things to talk about. But to your point, we've stuck hard to our pricing, even in those uncertain early times, because we know the same is true at the end of our busy season. We're doing this every single year. People have this fall rush where they think, oh crap, I got to get my summer stuff in before the snow comes. And so it's just this huge, big push. And we end up booking as much as we can and pushing as far as we can into the winter, but then we just roll over what we need to into the next year. And
what is the percentage? Like, do you make any money during the winter? Like, can you do anything?
Yeah. We plow snow in the winter.
Oh, okay. But not the land. You just not land clearing.
Yeah. And it's like, I feel like a big thing that I've been challenging myself to do recently is just focus. Because on the summer side, in a small market. We've got really talented operators. We've got a really talented team. We can do a lot of things on the summer side. We can do land clearing, forestry, excavation, hardscaping. And in the early days, I was just saying yes to everything. I was just doing it all. But now what I'm learning is how hard that is to build operationally. If you've got a hardscaping crew going, if you've got a forestry crew going, and if you've got a excavation crew going all on the same day, and you're just blowing and going as fast as you can in the early days of business, like when do you ever slow down to actually build the SOPs and build the process? And so
every time somebody in Home Service Accelerator tells me they want to add a service, the only exercise I do for them is I go, okay, cool, you can add the service. I'm looking forward to you adding the service, but here's what I want you to do first. Outfit the entire vehicle for me on paper. Tell me every single thing that you need in a vehicle. Tell me what the vehicle wrap is going to look like. Tell me how you're going to brand it. Tell me what equipment you need in every truck. So if you're now you're doing hardscaping and you're also a, tree guy, tell me what the arborist business looks like on the vehicles, and then tell me what the hardscaping business looks like on the vehicles. It's like, so now you're going to have two fleets. You're going to like, you can't. And so it's like, if the goal is like, unless they're like, all I want to do is just be a project guy, one owner, I don't want to ever have multiple vehicles, then sure, go be a jack of all trades. But 90% of guys want to build a wagon. And it's like, okay, what does that look like? Because you can't have, it's like the conversation's always with the pressure washing, like exterior cleaning guys. They're like, the pressure washing guys want to go do junk removal, and the junk removal guys want to do pressure washing. And I'm like, what does your rig look like? Like, how does that make sense? Because now you're going to have two vehicles, two brands. Your brand is sloppy. I've just never seen a successful, like a massive home service business that does two wildly different trades like that. Now there's like add-on trades like land clearing, snow plowing makes sense seasonal, Christmas lights, something else makes sense seasonal. But like, it's like, what I'm talking about is like, you're getting into like a completely different world with what you're talking about.
So I've even taken it as far as, and I had the conversation with the two guys on our leadership team. I'm like, do we scrap snow plowing and just go all in on the forestry and land clearing stuff? And like, that's been a serious conversation inside. But where we're constrained is like, we have all of our crew living in a geographic area. That crew that we're employing right now, we would have to send out traveling, pay per diem, pay lodging, all of that stuff, and build this complete different side of the business that we are not doing right now. And we've just made the decision that snow is a necessary service. We have the trucks. The only additional investment that we have to make is the plows on each truck. And we just stick to utilizing the trucks that we use in the summer for our crew trucks as plow trucks.
Yeah. What is like, I guess it's a half year MRR business, right? Like your snow plowing's repeat business. I guess it's like, how many times do you get paid per year by a snow plowing customer?
Well, we invoice monthly, but this year, as I have gone into the business, and look, my head's been all in land clearing and forestry. Like that's the one I really want to scale. No, I'm sort of viewing this as like, this is how we pay our guys and keep the crew together year round, so that we can grow on the forestry side. So kind of like where we were at in the beginning of this is, we have these weird operational constraints like you do in these either seasonal businesses or seasonal towns. And you have to make a decision like, am I just going to be this business for X amount of months a year? Or am I going to add another seasonal service on?
Yeah. I mean, we kind of had that same epiphany but thankfully the permanent lighting came in. So that's like, those marry each other a little bit. So like that kind of helps. But the other side of it too is like, all the permanent, 80% of the permanent lighting calls come during temporary season. So it's like, we just have to scrap during the rest of the year. Like it wasn't amazing sales of permanent during last year, but now that we have like a year of like brand recognition and all that, I think it'll be better. But yeah, I mean, dude, it's the same problem. It's the same problem across the board. It's I have made a case now, like, I think this year, so last year we did a little bit over 800,000 in like 50 days. It's like 45 days, something like that. And top line, decent margins. I think we ended at like 27%, something like that, net. And this year I was like, okay, we're going to push to between 1.1 and 1.2. Like that's the number I feel comfortable with. In top line, the margins will go down. Like that growth is really expensive. Like that growth is really expensive. So the margin's like I'll probably lose another 3 or 4 points this year. But if I ever decided to like stop growing, I'll add about 8 or 9 in the next year because I just don't have product cost. Like my product cost is the cost of growth is expensive in this business. And so it's become kind of a math equation, but it's really like, to me, it's becoming like very clear that Christmas lights are an amazing starter business. I don't think that it's an amazing $1 to $5 million a year business if you're not going to start going after commercial. So all of like the wagon, like 5 million, 8 million, $9 million businesses I've seen, aside from like a very few small amount of like legacy residential installer companies that have been around for like 5-10 years, whatever, like all of the big wagon businesses, they're doing commercial. And like, I just don't really have like a lot of desire to go into that path because I have Home Service Accelerator. We have the permanent lighting business now. And so like, we just kind of decided just like keep the main thing and make it like a good margin, heavy margin residential business. Like, I don't know. That's kind of where we're at, but dude,
so you're saying rather than scale, you want to gain.
I just want to keep going like until residential stops growing.
Yeah.
Cause like, what happens, which is really interesting too, is like, even if I sell somebody in October, November, if I sell a new customer in November this year, I have the chance to convince them next year for like a small discount or whatever else to let us install in October and September. Like not everybody's going to do it. Like a lot of people, like I think I have like 55 jobs that are returners that are like, you're not coming out till mid-November. And we're like, okay, like understood. Right. And our average ticket's $3,800. So that's like a lot of returners. But then we convince like a lot of these people, like, even if they booked in November this year, it's like, hey, you want it even cheaper next year? Like, let us install in September. We'll leave the lights off. We'll wire them to you, whatever else. And so you kind of like, as you grow the Christmas light business, you almost like expand the time of year you can work, but it's still very, very stressful because it's like even now, like my 4 days behind. So like, we'll catch sales in 4 days. So it's like this game of cat and mouse where like sales, please, like close, because like the installers are like chipping away at all of these October jobs. And so it's like it's very difficult, but it's fun. It's every day I'm like, oh boy. And then we get close and then the sales guy like rip like a $15,000 job. And I'm like, okay, that's a day. That's a day of installs. Great. And then the weekend comes and whatever else. But yeah, dude, it's been fun. Ads have been tougher this year though, for sure. There's
really?
there's so much competition now. So much competition.
Because you're teaching everybody how to do it.
Yeah, dude, my own competition is basically like, dude, in my market, my own competition is basically just like all my ads repurposed word for word. Like every competitor in my market is just running my ads.
Really?
Like, yeah, it's just, but by the time I'm doing that, I'm on to the next thing. Like, then next year they'll do postcards and whatever else, and I'll already be on to the next thing. It just happens, I don't know.
So are they in Home Service Accelerator?
No, I won't sell a Phoenix Christmas light business in Home Service Accelerator. I'll sell Phoenix every other businesses. I won't sell a Christmas light business because like, and I've told kids that tried to join, like I've told like, there's some young guys that like have basically begged to join that are in Christmas lights. And I'm like, it is not morally right for me to do this, to like let you in, because I will not provide you the value that you want because I refuse to like educate my competition. I can't stop you from watching my YouTube. I can't stop you from watching my Twitter, but I'm not going to give you the sauce. Sorry. So, I mean, that's just like stupid. That's stupid. Now, some of these kids, like some of the younger kids will like call me. I say kids, I'm 30. I'm not that old, but like some of the younger guys will call me and I'll give them like safety advice. And like, hey, this is where your pricing is. Like, this is where numbers should be. Let me explain to you what net margin is. Let me explain to you why the top line number is very irrelevant in this business. And like that kind of stuff helps, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. These like, it's like my mom had a frozen yogurt shop in high school and they murdered, like they killed it, like right by the football field for the public school. Like Friday nights, it'd be, they just line out the door, like every basketball game, every football game. And like the analogy I always tell people about new competition is like a Menchie's opened up, like Menchie's frozen yogurt opened up a mile away. And like, they were not good. Like it was a franchise. It wasn't family owned. Like they were not even half as busy as my mom, probably 20%. But my mom still lost 20% of the sales. And so the point was like, the competition doesn't have to be 800,000 pound gorillas to hurt you. Like the competition can suck and you'll still feel it because there might be like 15 of them popped up. Maybe each one of them is, grabbing 50,000 a season. Well, if 15 of them grab 50,000 a season, that's $750,000. Is that math right? Yeah, that math's right. Right? 15 times 7, 50,000. I think that math's right. And so like, that's where like, I do kind of, yeah, that's right. I do kind of like laugh at the guys on like X that are like, oh, I love my competition. Like, yes, too. Like, I'm friendly with them. I'm happy to have everybody do it, whatever. But I stopped making like, you should quit your job and start a home service business content a long time ago. Like a long time ago. Because, dude, I felt it in junk removal and I feel it in Christmas lights. This new age Twitter and Instagram and Facebook thing where it's like home services is the quickest way to be a millionaire is one, wrong. And two, like it's hurting everybody. Like my Google pay-per-click customer acquisition costs tripled in 3 years on junk removal. That doesn't happen if Google doesn't have more people to show PPC ads to. Like that's just like basic supply and demand. Google had a lot more demand for the supply of clicks. So who wins? Google. And like, they don't get more demand unless a bunch of people are like, oh, I have a $300,000 finance job. I'm going to go be a plumber. I'm going to go buy a plumbing business. It's like, okay, well, you're probably not going to make money for a long time and you're going to hurt the rest of the competition in the process. I think you disagree on this. I think you actually push back on this on Twitter. So if you do, let me know. But I'm very anti like, sell the home service dream at this stage. Are you?
Dude, I don't really care anymore. I think in the beginning, whenever I started writing content on X, it's like that's the stuff that pops. That's what people want to see. And
yeah,
or at least there was a phase where it did. But I'm with you now. Like I could care less if people start businesses or not. I do love creating the content for the people who are in the game, right? And it's like I love talking with you because you challenge me to become better at the craft, right? And if people want to listen in on this stuff and pick up on some of your sauce, I think it's great. But yes, I'm with you. I have no desire to, because the reality is there are so many people out there who have a multi six-figure tech job and they are seeing the dream where it's like, I mean, you and I are still in the build phase, right? Like I say it all the time. It's like, I'm paying myself a very reasonable salary to build this business. Like by reasonable, I don't mean like balling at all, right? It's like I'm paying myself less than 2 of my guys. You know what I mean? Like, and it just is what it like. I'm up at 3 a.m. working on it, but I love it, right? Like this is what I wouldn't be doing anything else. I'd be so bored at corporate.
Yes.
So
and I was very bored. I was very bored in corporate America too. Like borderline depressed, but bored nonetheless.
Oh yeah. I was depressed for sure.
Yeah, I think, and like it's funny because, and I've talked about this before, I started making YouTube videos, and this is actually like, it has sold Home Service Accelerator a lot to people because I left them on my YouTube channel. I made day in the life starting the junk removal business videos in 2021. And the series was called the Quit Your Job series. And I was documenting like, I left corporate America. I'm so like, I have freedom. Like I didn't have a product or anything to sell people. I was just like trying to like document and be an influencer in home services for God knows whatever reason. Gary Vee told me I needed a personal brand. I don't know. So all of like, if you go to my YouTube and you go sort from the very bottom, you will see me 60 pounds heavier talking about how like, this is the Quit Your Job series. And I'm like hyped up on weeks where I made $1,500 profit. And like, I've talked about this before to the Home Service Accelerator people. I was telling people like, oh, home services are great. Like quit your job. I quit $150,000 corporate America sales job at 22 years old to do this, or 23 years old, something like that. Dude, I didn't make 150K until 2 years ago. So it took me 4 years to match that, like that take home with benefits, with with PTO, and like every week was a good paycheck. And this was 2019. Like 150K as a fresh college grad in 2018, 2019. I bought a house with that corporate America job. I had rent. I was house hacking to my buddies in college. Like, dude, objectively, financially speaking, probably was on a pretty good trajectory. Like, my buddy still works there, like that was there with me as a manager at the same time. So he's been there for like what, almost a decade now. He's flying private. So he he stuck it out. We were doing like 100 million a year. They're doing like a couple B's now. So like he stuck it out. Like he's probably happy. His family's probably happy. But like, dude, I used to say like, oh, quit your job, whatever, when I was not making money. I didn't realize I wasn't making money for a while. Like I was the idiot who was like, oh, my junk removal company did 10K this week. That means I did 10K this week. It's like, no, you didn't. You probably did too. But maybe even not even that. And if you want to grow, you probably did even less. So, dude, you're right. And like, what's interesting too is I talk to these Christmas light guys. Like, I'm pretty transparent with it. Like, if I didn't have a seasonal business, I would not have started Home Service Accelerator. Like, I started Home Service Accelerator because I don't do anything for 8 months a year, or I historically hadn't done anything for 8 months a year. And so, like, I almost defy my advice to everybody, which is like, focus on the main thing, grow your one business to whatever. But like, I didn't have a choice. I have a seasonal business. What was I going to do? Sit around all day? But like, it is like, I will be completely honest with you. These next 2 months, Home Service Accelerator takes away from Valley Christmas, and Valley Christmas takes away from Home Service Accelerator briefly. But the way I offset it is I overpay management in both of those businesses to offset my split attention. And so like, I could probably run a lot leaner and take home a lot more money in Valley Christmas if I didn't staff the way I needed to like acknowledge the fact that like, I know my attention is going to be split across two for 2 months. And so like, that's the other side too, is just very, very like, I'm a walking proof that like, dude, if you're doing 2 separate services of any kind, like you are going to get lapped by the guy that's doing one.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
Even if you're the biggest grinder in the world,
you have capacity.
Yeah.
And I would say that's the biggest learning lesson that I've taken away from starting Bear Claw. Because when you're starting out, I said yes for cash flow purposes. I'm like, well, I just bought this $120,000 skid steer, so if it's not clearing brush and somebody wants me to grade their driveway, I'll say yes to that all day, and I'll charge them in USD for it, you know?
Yeah.
But now there's a certain point where it's like, okay, lead volume and sales are at a rate to where we're booking both. And it finally just got to the point where it's like, no, we have to pick one and just cut the other, be willing to say no to something good to build something great.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, I just look at the guys who paved the road before us. Like, you and I are both relatively young in the game. Like, I've been doing this for five and a half years now, 6th Christmas season. Like, I just look at the massive guys. I look at the guys that like I have had the chance to like interview on my YouTube, or like had the chance to bump into. Like, I mean, dude, one of the most impactful conversations I've ever had in a home service business was like, I met Tommy Mello at a Morgan Wallen concert, and I probably talked to him in the concourse for 25 minutes. And like, I was just curious, and I think he enjoyed that. Like, a younger dude was curious, so he just wanted to chat. And like, dude, I got more out of that. And like, the only thing he said to me, like the 2 main things he said to me, and it was like, I think someone with a little bit less thick skin probably would have hurt their feelings, but he was like, dude, you're in the wrong business. Like, he told me like multiple times, he's like, dude, I hope I'm not offending you. Cause he actually like historically like had a partnership with a Christmas light company, like at the early stages of A1. And he was like, dude, you're in the wrong business. Do the math for me. Like, where do you want to be? And I'm sitting there at a Morgan Wallen concert with a beer in my hand. And I'm like, I'm trying to get that. I'm trying to get private jet money, to be honest with you. He's like, you're not getting private jet money with a local Christmas light business that makes money 2 months a year. And I'm like, I know, but now it's nice to hear someone else tell me that. Like, I know. And so then like, he starts going into like, dude, like do the math in 5 years. Like, what's the best case scenario for Valley Christmas in Phoenix in 5 years? Are you going to go to other markets? Like, okay, if you're going to go to other markets, what's that look like? Like, where's like the massive scaling lever in a business where you're only making money 2 months a year. And he's 100% right. Like, and so then he was talking about like, dude, even with like he's said this publicly. He's like, even with A1, he's like, dude, he said he wishes he would have done an HVAC company. Like he's even said it. The dude is one of the most public, like one of the biggest and most public, like publicly documented home service exits ever. Like there's books about it. Like they were not hiding any of it. They were very transparent about like the process of that. And I think that's actually helped them long-term to do everything else they're doing now. But like, dude, like when the guys that have done that, like the guys that have gotten to that level, and then the guys that like, I interviewed Cam Bodden, who sold Green Mango Pest Control in Phoenix for like over 9 figures. And like a couple other home service brands. He said the same thing. He was like, dude, I lived, slept, and breathed Green Mango for like the last 3 years. And that's where they got all their enterprise value. Like they were not worth $100 million 3 years before he sold, or whatever they sold for, not even close. But at one point he had a pool service company. He had I think like an auto detail or glass company. He had a pest control company. He's the partner in Coconut Cleaning, which is another really massive home service brand that is still. And so he got rid of everything else. And like, again, when all of these guys who are 10, 15, 20 years older than me are like, do the one thing, like do the one thing and scale it to death. Like I'm going to listen to that because I'm not an idiot. And then it's like, I'm turning around to my home service accelerator people that buy my stuff because I'm like, yeah, I built a business from 0 to, 400 or 500K a month. Like, I don't think I'm a coach, but like if you want the marketing and processes and systems that I did to get it there, you can join Home Service Accelerator. It'll get you that way. Once you get to 500K a month, I'm probably not your guy. Probably need to go talk to Tommy and them or something else. I'm just going to be the marketing and sales guy that gets you there. And so like I have the same conversation with these guys where I'm like, what are you doing? Like this guy, like a $10,000 a month window cleaner is like, oh, I want to start a junk removal company. I'm like, dude, no, you don't. Like, let me walk you through the exact same conversation I just had at like a little bit higher level with you. But like a lot of the time too, I don't know if you deal with this with like your community, but like a lot of the time too, you can tell people all these things, but they just have to feel it and experience it sometimes like themselves. And then they come to the conclusion, which like, I don't know. I think that's probably a sign of self-awareness or intellect to maybe like actually listen to what guys who've done it before you say and not just be like, oh no, my situation's different. Because like chances are your situation's not different. Like you're not a unique home service business. Like everybody's like nothing about what you're doing is unique, like at all. So if the guys before you are saying specialize, then specialize. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. I mean, it's not like it's anything revolutionary that I've heard in this last year. It's not,
No.
I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it in the third year. Or I didn't hear anything different in the third year that I heard when I was starting. But whenever you're starting, you're just so, you have your blinders up and you're like, I'm going to do it the way I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. And at least that's how I did it. And then there's a certain point, at least for us, where 3 years in, there was just a clear decision that needed to be made. It was like, do you want all the headaches that is coming along with that? Yes, sure. There was that was
the headaches,
but like
the headaches and not a lot of money.
I think the tough part is like excavation is like there's good margins in excavation, but there's a lot that goes into the estimating. There's a lot that goes into building the crew. And like we have some rock stars on our team, but my sales guy was doing both, and when I had the conversation with him this summer, he's like 80% of my time is going to the excavation. And you know what's crazy about the 80-20 rule? Guess where 80% of our jobs were being booked for the rest of the year on the forestry and land clearing side.
Yeah.
So like our forestry and land clearing side of the business is just booking up. And he's only spending 20% of his time, like not even allocating time towards this building a sales process. Right. So when we saw that data, I'm like, wait, you're telling me that you spent 80% of your time on this, but yet I'm looking at the schedule and we're just ripping forestry jobs all the way through the fall.
Yeah, dude.
So it's just like, it's so clear to me at this point. Like we just have to cut this.
It's a hard thing to do.
I want to bring this up because I think you'll have something to add on this. The other thing for me as the marketer, when you're trying to market two different things at once, it's insanity.
Dude.
Or multiple things at once, right? Rather than like it's hard enough to manage all this stuff. Like you got to do long form, you got to do short form, you got to do ads, you got to do Google Business Profile, you got to drive reviews. Like if you're trying to do that for multiple different servers, it just doesn't. I couldn't get it to work in my head, and so this is when I was like, we got to go all in on one thing, and then all of my stuff started going.
Yeah, dude. We actually just the last 3 months had the epiphany on the marketing side. So like we got rid of the junk removal company maybe a year and a half ago. Like it was a good income generator, kept my guys busy, whatever else. But like we did the math on, okay, we're going to shut this business down for Q4 every year. And then like, sub it out, whatever. But like then our Google reviews are starting to suck. Like we lose traction there. Like our Facebook ads, we just shut off for a bit. Like organic happens. What happens when it's like a repeat property manager? Now we just like let in our buddy in the door. And like, why is he not just going to like go with the guy we subbed out the next time until we're back? It just like didn't make sense at all. But the other side is like outside of just like marketing two different things at the same time. I feel that a little bit, even with the permanent lighting business and the temporary lighting business. But like the cool thing is like they overlap each other. So someone might be like, oh, I want a temporary lighting quote. And then we'll be like, well, have you heard about perm? And then they're like, oh, interesting. And so we've like, those kind of cross pollinate, but like junk and the other one don't. Land clearing and forestry or whatever the other, like all the other trades, like maybe they like the excavation side, maybe they overlap a little bit, but they don't. But here's where it like really clicked with me was I started with Home Service Accelerator kind of blowing up and Valley Christmas blowing up at the same time. I had a lot of shared employees, like managerial employee, like admin employees. So like back office, like operation role, who's like helping with Home Service Accelerator, but then also running the books and like helping do payroll for Valley Christmas, whatever. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, and then we had like a onboarder who was like doing both and all this other stuff. And I like had this very aggressive conversation with my team the other day about like how if I can't do it as the owner, the grinder founder, if even I'm feeling split, how on God's green earth am I going to expect my employees splitting 20 hours a week across both to even remotely like perform at all? And so now everybody's just specialized except for one. And like, she's in the middle of kind of phasing herself out. But that was another thing too, is like my videographer was split. My editors were split across both businesses. My admin, like all this stuff was split. And I'm like, dude, like, even if they're working 50 hours a week, it's 25 hours each business. That's not enough time. Like it's not enough effort, output, whatever you want to call it. And so that's the other thing too, is like the more you do different stuff, the less specialized your employees will be in the stuff. And so like, even for you, it's like, okay, what's the talk track on the phone for an inbound lead for excavation? What's the talk track on the phone for the inbound lead for forestry? What's the talk track on the phone for the inbound lead for snow plowing? Like all the other stuff, like, okay, well, it was the sales process identical? Are we pre-qualifying more in one? Are we pre-qualifying more on the other? Are we like kicking out more? Like it's too much. It's like too much to cross-train people. And you can't expect them to be like amazing at both because they're just not. Like even employees in general, like if you as the owner are, the best at running your business, like most of the time your employees, like until you start getting leadership employees that you can pay more and like have career people, like your baseline first receptionist or office staff is going to do 75, 80% of the job you did. And so now you're splitting them in half, their attention in half. Good luck. That's how I view it.
Let's dive into that piece specifically. Please. A little bit of a segue here. I do want to hear your speed to lead process and how you've built your org chart to support that. Who answers the phone and what other responsibilities does that person handle?
Okay. We got to start from the top. Okay.
Let's do it.
So org chart, and you're talking Christmas lights.
Yeah. Let's talk Christmas lights.
Yeah. Okay. So org chart is me. And then there's Jack. Jack runs the Jack is the director of operations. Then he's the co-owner of the permanent lighting business. So director of operations in the temporary, 50-50 partner in the permanent, for obvious reasons. Like he was so good for 5 years. There's no chance I wasn't going to give him equity in the perm business. So he's like the operator, co-owner in perm, director of operations for temporary. And then, so under Jack, he has all of the install leads, all of the installers, all of them answer to him. Like employees and managers do not call me ever. Like everything funnels to Jack. The only employees I talk to are directors, which would be Jack, director of operation, Natalie, like she's the back office, like the office staff admin operations role for like the inner workings of the business. And then Kyle, who's the head of sales, like the director of sales. Those are the only employees that talk to me. And then they have their employees and managers under them that talk to them. And so then Natalie has within Natalie, she's like office admin, all of that. Like she runs the back end of the business. Natalie has a girl under her. And so that's like our office staff. So we have 2 people that are in charge of phones, right? First touch goes to the office staff under her. And then overflow on open phone or quo, Natalie will clean up. So if the first staff is on a call and another phone call comes in, Natalie's going to answer that. So like that's, and then if Natalie's busy, then it goes up to me, but it like never goes up to me. It's very rare that happens. So, and then the head of sales, this is why I bring this up. The sales org is different. So here's what I mean. The way I have it set up, knowing that background, is if they submit a lead form on any of our paid ads or any of our organic stuff. So gave us their name, first name, last name, email, phone number, address, all this stuff. They have to click multiple times and acknowledge the minimum price. So they will not submit. My cost per lead on Facebook ads is very expensive compared to other Christmas light companies because I do not want you I want you to see that it's $1,000 minimum. I want you to see these are the options, all that jazz. I want you to check a box that says, I acknowledge that Valley Christmas is a premier provider, carries full insurance, all that. Because of that, the minimum is $1,000. I want them to all of that. So if they submit that way in Snipey Lead, like my Go High Level form, if they've submitted those forms and they've been pre-qualified, it round robins directly to my salespeople. So salesperson 1 gets lead 1. Salesperson 2 gets lead 2. Salesperson 3 gets lead 3. Now, these are only people that have self-submitted their stuff because they've acknowledged the minimum. They've acknowledged the minimum again. So we know that those, like, they at least know what they're getting into, right?
So real quick, I got a question. So do you have a Go High Level survey set up to where they're opting in on the first one and you're collecting name, email, contact, so that, because what I'm trying to get clear on is, do you collect their lead information before they go through consent on checking the boxes?
No, I'll show you. You see my screen?
No, I don't see your screen yet. So like the question that I'm trying to ask, so they go to your salespeople, right? But your salespeople is different than your back office staff, correct?
Yeah,
so
it's one
scenario?
Form.
Yes,
it's one form.
Yes.
So here,
okay, all right, I got you.
Yeah, share it. It'll make sense. So
you got it. I don't see it.
It says I'm sharing. I think you have to like let my screen in.
I didn't get a notification here.
Okay, hold on. I'll do it again. Is it there now?
Do it again. I clicked off. I missed it. Add to the scene. All right, here we go.
Okay, so here's me, right? Yeah. So they click this. This is a Snipey Lead Go High Level form. Okay.
Yep. Is it a form or a survey?
It's a form. Okay. They enter all their stuff here, right? First name, last name, email, address. Decent amount of friction. They acknowledge the minimum here. They have to choose a selection. So like this is going to drop off 60, 70% of the leads right here. Right? Which is what we want. Only in a Christmas light business, because you don't want to like inundate your staff. And then they acknowledge again here that it's $1,000, right? So they're acknowledging it twice. If they go through this process, like, and they fill out this form, it circumvents my office staff and it goes straight to the salesperson, because I value speed to appointment and speed to lead more than anything else. And so that goes straight through Snipey Lead Go High Level, goes straight to salesperson 1. His phone, the second that gets submitted, his phone rings and says, you have a new lead, Kyle, press 1 to get connected. He presses 1, instantly connects to that customer. Customer goes, oh my gosh, you guys are so fast. And then he's like, cool, I'm actually going to be out there in 3 hours. You ready for me? Here's the appointment. Sends her a calendar invite, rock and roll. Next lead comes in, it goes to Barb. Barb does the same thing, and it round robins automatically. Kyle, Barb, Dan, Ray. Kyle, Barb, Dan, Ray. Kyle, Barb, Dan, Ray. If they're filling out those forms. So now what you're asking is like, well, where's the office staff come in?
Mm-hmm.
Office staff comes in on all inbound phone calls. Because inbound phone calls, this is why when I was explaining it, I was like, only on lead forms. Because like inbound phone call is that's the choke point for the sales team. I don't want my sales team running around like fielding phone calls like, oh, I thought you guys were going to just hang my Home Depot lights for me. You guys don't do that. Like, no, that's like salespeople need to be selling. And so when inbound phone calls come in, so postcards, yard sign calls, referrals, Facebook ads, but they called the phone number and they didn't actually go through, like, then fill out the form, Google Maps calls, website organic calls, all of those go to my office staff. They have like a separate unique form that's called like it's called like inbound office staff, and the office staff will fill out a form similar to this that's made for the office staff to fill out, and then the office staff will pass them off to the sales team in Slack, and it'll still get round robin assigned to them, but then they'll go into the sales team and be like they'll go into the Slack and be like, hot lead coming in, you know, Tina Smith, PV, said she wanted trees, whatever else, whoever gets this, go out there, she's ready for you today. Only on inbound calls. That's the difference. Because like if I make content, like think about me, right? Like you've watched some of my stuff. Like all I do is yell about speed to lead. If the office was getting all of the inbound leads, every single one of them up the rip, then what would happen is we would have a manual failure point between, hey Kyle, when are you available to go out and quote? Right? Like on every single one, form and phone. And so what I did is I made the forms more aggressive, knowing that once that gets in the salesperson's lap, he's just like, boom, I'm ready. Like this person's already pre-qualified. Let's rock. And so this is where like there's so much nuance to this. Is like if I showed people my cost per lead on Facebook, they'd be like, you're terrible at running ads. And I'm like, no, I'm not. My ads are quality. Like my leads are quality. And then like again, agencies do not like me for obvious reasons. Like a lot of the bad agencies don't like me. The good ones love me. Like Bodie and all those guys love me because they're good agencies. The bad, like, run you some engagement campaigns and hang around and lurk in the Facebook groups all day talking about how great they are. Like those agencies hate me, right? And so those agencies be like, well, his cost per lead is ridiculous. And I'm like, my average ticket is higher than any other residential installation company I've ever seen that does just residential temp. I've never seen a residential temp company that does our revenue where the average ticket's higher. So again, like not to sound like a dick, but like proof matters, right? If I'm going to get up here and talk about it, proof matters a little bit. And so like I have the proof. I have documented the proof everywhere. Like my model is like super, super aggressive, high speed to lead sales process in the wealthiest areas. And all of the processes I built kind of lead up to that. And so my cost per lead, like, dude, in October, there was a week where my cost per Facebook lead form was $60. $60 a lead form. And I'm spending $350 a day. And I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, some people will say in other trades, well, you're losing out on opportunities by showing that minimum. They're 100% correct. They are correct. There are some people who you haven't convinced to come across the finish line that you probably lose by having a higher minimum before you've been able to sell them on value. But the trade-off is if I open the floodgates to the point where like, yes, I can get my cost per lead to $15. I can get my cost per lead for $10. My salespeople would legitimately have 20 a day stacking every day. Yep. And so then if they don't get through that 20, they're going through another 20. Now they're at 40 tomorrow. And then they're just not able to keep up. Then it's like our speed to lead is lost. Like there's one $15,000 job potential sitting in there being drowned out by 10 to 15 people who thought that we were going to hang Home Depot lights.
Yeah. Do you run LSA?
They don't offer Christmas lights.
They don't offer Christmas lights.
No. So they have like electrician services, anything like that. But no, they don't offer Christmas lights.
And then for any of your Facebook ads, do you run to a phone number on your ads?
I put a phone number in most of the like copy, like a forwarding number. And then it's just a lead form. And then at the end of the submission of the lead form, it says, if you want immediate assistance, call this number.
Now, will that, so in that scenario, if the person fills out the form and they consent, they get sent to your sales guy via round robin.
Mm-hmm.
But then if they if they do call, that's getting routed to the office staff as well.
Yeah, it'll get routed to the office staff, and then it's just like it's a double call. But it's so rare that they do that. It's there. But then, like, honestly, then the customer gets called twice, and they're like, "Damn, these people are on."
Love it.
So it's like, if that's the worst thing of my system, I'm like, yeah, it is what it is.
So with in your podcast with Cam, and I sent this to one of our sales guys a couple of weeks ago after I listened to that, which you're creating some really good content on there. Guys, I would, like, if you want to learn more about, I mean, yeah, you're creating good content for everything, but for Speed the Lead, marketing, sales, if you want to learn more about that, go listen to some of his episodes, the one with Cam from Green Mango, and I'm sorry, I'm butchering the name, but the cleaning company one.
Oh, Coconut, Evan Ritchie.
Yeah, that one was good too. But the thing I took away, and I actually texted my sales guys, was Cam. He was like, yeah, text him. He's like, text him, call him, text him, call him, text him a personalized video, text him, call him, text him, personalized video. And he's like, some of my sales guys would be like, well, aren't we going to bother him? And he's like, who cares? Like, what? So what? Like, if they weren't going to answer, so what? Right? Like, the alternative is they just don't respond to you. Who cares? Like, your goal as a salesperson, and I think that this is where I have such a tough time resonating with people who don't follow up, is I'm like, dude, when I was doing sales, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to get on my own soapbox here, but like when I was doing sales, when I started the business, you know as well, and I know you were doing this too. You had an automation set up to text the name, the email, and the phone number. And guess what the phone number comes in as? A clickable link. So click. Hey, it's Austin with Bear Claw Land Services. How are you? 100%. And it's like, so many people just overcomplicate this. You don't even have to have a, like, yes, you should have a script. Like, don't hear me out on this. My point is with this is calling them and saying, hi, this is Austin with Bear Claw. How may I help you? Is better than just getting them on the phone, is better than nothing at all. And so, yeah, but like what I loved about what Cam was saying is do the personalized video, use their name, make it personal, and text it to them. And we've been doing that. And
dude, it's awesome. Crazy. It's like I could go multiple ways from like a mindset standpoint. My push to like the follow-up question will always be like, if you're a business owner, and then let's go even further and say you have employees, and like let me just do the deductive reasoning for you. You're like, oh, I'm afraid to follow up so much because I don't want to annoy people, right? Like you need to give up. Like truly, just hang it up. Hang it up. Like if you're like, I don't want to annoy people, so I'm only gonna touch them once. Like you're in the wrong trade. Go get a 9-to-5. Like if that's what your mind is, because what you're saying when you say that is you're saying, I would rather not be a tiny bit uncomfortable out of like every maybe 20 calls because someone says we're annoying. I would rather not feel that discomfort than I would have my business thrive. Like that's what you're saying with your actions. Whether you're not consciously saying it, that's what you're saying. It's the discomfort you get from the follow-up is you're better off in your mind not feeling that and then letting your competitors take more jobs. So that's the one side. That's like the kind of nuts and bolts like mindset side. You're being soft. Like if you're not following up like that, you're being soft. And then the other tactical side is like, you have to understand that when an inbound lead comes in any trade business of any kind, like they're not sold yet. Like it's you and it is a competitive sport. And so all a follow-up is just simply more at-bats in the baseball game of sales to actually get that, to actually hit a home run. And so if you follow up once, you get one at-bat per game to catch them at the right time. Because what's going to happen is a lot of time when they submit to you, they're submitting to multiple companies. So they submit to you when they're at work, right? Well, they can't answer the phone at work. So you called once, you didn't catch them, life goes on. If you follow up 4 or 5 times over multiple different avenues, maybe you catch them in the car in the waiting in school line. You finally get them. That's what you got on the second at bat. Maybe they don't answer that one too. So you send them a follow-up video. Maybe they get home at 6 p.m. and they're like, okay, let me deal with this. I got this video from this guy. Kind of annoying, but wow, that's a great follow-up. Whatever it is. So like, who's going to win? The business that takes 1 at bat per game or the business that takes 5 or 6? Like, It's just basic math, man. Like I could have double the batting average, but I'm getting 6 more at bats a game. Like, it's just such a no-brainer, man. It makes me mad because, like, even like sometimes even in Home Service Accelerator, people would be like, "Oh, that feels like a lot of follow-up." I'm like, it is a lot of follow-up. It absolutely is. My automated nurture is phone call, voicemail, text message, text message, text message, text message, text message, and then my sales team can go after that. So 6 touches in 3.5 days. Pretty aggressive. And then I'll just like randomly nurture. And so I don't know, like we had a permanent lighting job in the middle of May that closed for like $6,000, and she didn't respond until the 4th or 5th text nurture. And the 5th text nurture, I think, is, and I made a video about this a while ago. The 5th text nurture is like, it says something like, "Hey, customer's first name." So it's like, "Hey, Tina, comma, this is Steve with Valley Christmas or Valley Premier. We saw you submitted a form. I've been following up to try to catch you at the right time. Like, if this is a project you're looking to keep working on, great. Otherwise, just like let me know and I'll stop calling you." Like, that's like what that one. And then she's like, "Oh, no, I need it. Great." And it's a $5,000 job. Like, I do not get that job if I don't send 5 or 6 texts. So it's like, it's so simple. And it's funny, like everybody who has big businesses has insane follow-up sequences like that. And I loved that, like I had it, and then I had Cam on, which is the one you referenced, and he sold a pest control business for 9 figures. And he's like, "Oh yeah, we were incessant. We were like, it was 3 or 4 days of hell." And I'm like, it's like, you know what's funny too? It's like, you want to really know that follow-up works? Look at the worst company in the space, Angie's List. They're still publicly traded. They're printing money, publicly traded, and their follow-up game is like, they're notorious for being the most annoying follow-up ever. Like, they're notorious for it. But like, am I saying run your business like Angie? Absolutely not. I think that they're actually like, I'm eventually going to get a cease and desist from them because I shit on them so much on my content. But like, dude, there's something to that. Like, they know the follow-up game. They know it better than anyone. What are they? I'm actually Googling. What are they worth? They are worth $600 million.
You know what I love about the interview with Cam? He seems like such a humble guy too. He's like low key. But whenever you got him fired up on that, he was just like, yeah, he's like, when a sales guy like tells me he's not following up, he's like, what do you mean you're not following up? What do you mean you're not sending them personalized messages? And so, yeah, that was a big thing that stuck with me from that interview.
Yeah, Cam is a fascinating individual. I've just kind of become like acquainted with him from that interview. Like, that dude is methodical and he is dialed. Like, what that dude built out in Phoenix, I know you're not out here, but like, dude, they had 150, 160 trucks on the road when he sold, like, for pest control. Like, dude, his story is pretty cool. But also, I do want to hit on something. Angie's worth 600 million. Fantastic. I will say, upon further review, their stock is trading at $14 right now. In 2021, it was trading at 168. So their follow-up's great, but I probably shouldn't use them as an example of how to run a successful business, because I think that they have fallen from grace wonderfully. But I Googled it while I was talking. Was like, damn, that's a brutal chart, but still worth 600 million. But I'm sure a lot of people lost their asses. But either way, hate to see it happen to a better company, though. You know.
Let's. How much longer do you have? You need.
I got time. I don't have a meeting till 3, which is an hour and a half.
So one thing I wanted to touch base on is your creative process. So you are dialed.
Thank you.
In your Facebook ads. And yeah, if you want the playbook, just go watch his ads. Anybody can watch them.
And they do. And
I bet you they do. How do you think about filming ads?
I don't. And that's the beauty of it. So I think that like one of the most beautiful skills you can possess in business is a lack of emotional attachment to a result. in anything. So do not have an emotional attachment to any result, right? Whether you have the greatest sales week ever, you're a 7 out of 10. Or you have the worst sales week ever, you're a 7 out of 10 on the excitement level. The same thing is true with ads. And so I don't get emotionally attached to the ad script. I don't get emotionally attached to like, oh, I think this one's going to be a banger. I just film creatives, and I'll go into my creative process, like for sure. But I just film creatives, and then I just post them in groups of 3 to 5 in a campaign, and I let the $1 trillion algorithm tell me which ad is good. Like, I have had ads that took 10 times longer than another ad to film and edit, whatever else, that I was like, that's the banger, and it sucks. Perfect example. There's an ad that me, Jake, and Jack filmed for Permanent Lighting. We like crazy, like decent edit. Like it was like, I'm in bed with like a Santa hat on and I'm like sleeping in bed. And it's like this cool edit where it's like, you're dreaming about your, about having permanent Christmas lights on your house. I go into like this little cloud and then it like, boom, music hits. And it's like this crazy highlight film of our installs. We finished that. And I was like, that is going to be our best ad ever. Like not even close. It is going to be our best ad ever. Absolutely tanked. I've put it into 3 or 4 different campaigns. It never takes off ever. And the beauty of it is I don't have to wonder why. It just didn't work. And so the algorithm doesn't care about the emotion. The algorithm doesn't care about anything. All the algorithm cares about is, did it convert? That's it. And so when I make ads, the way I start it is as I go through on my social media, when I'm going through Instagram, I'm doom scrolling, when I'm on TikTok, whatever, all I do is I just look at anything. Like every ad I see, I go, oh, interesting. Why did that work on me? So like, that's step one. If you go to my Instagram and you look at my bookmarks, or you look at my screen recordings on my photos on my iPhone, all you'll see is like other companies' ads. And so like we talked about A1 Garage Door earlier, we run a Permanent Lighting ad that is literally like, I got an A1 ad. And it was like a technician talking about how when they built their sales process and their implementation process for their garage doors, he built it with his mom in mind. Like when all the process was like, I built this with my mom in mind. If I was selling to my mom, how do you do it? What did I do? I take that script, I use Otter AI, I record it on a computer. I take the transcript of it, I throw it into ChatGPT and say, I have a Christmas light business, like reword this for a permanent Christmas light LED business. And then it spits me out a new script. I look at the new script. I go, okay, that makes sense. And then I don't even go word for word. I just run. So that's ad creative number 1. And then the other, like the baseline rundown for like how we do any other ad creatives is just, it's 6 steps every single time. And then as you get better at ads, you can fudge with it a little bit. But if it's like your first time ever running ads, it's call the location you're advertising first, who you are, what you do, why you're different, expiring offer, value proposition at the end, and then verbally tell them to take action. So the CTA, like verbally tell them to call to action. And so like how that looks on here is like what's the city you're in again, Austin?
I'm in Winter Park.
Okay. So it's first words out of your mouth. It's just, what's up, Winter Park? My name's Austin. I'm the owner of Bear Claw Excavation. Like, dude, there's your 3 steps right here. And like you flash in a map of Winter Park, like a little, like you flash it on the screen for like 2 seconds, or a notable landmark, or you film it at a notable landmark that everybody in your market would see. And then you just go into like exactly what actually makes you different that resonates with people. So maybe you talk about like one of the things we talk about in our ads sometimes is like we talk about like we're one of the only Christmas light companies in the Valley that all we do is Christmas lights. It's not an add-on. We're not a landscaper that does Christmas lights on the side. We live, sleep, breathe Christmas lights. That means our insurance is all for Christmas lights. That means blah, 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 blah. Like that's like my unique value proposition. Another one we do is like, we talk about like, we're one of the longest tenured companies in the Valley, screenshot of our Google reviews. Like this is, don't listen to me, hear it from here. Another thing we do sometimes is like, I don't think it's live right now because it worked better in the off season than it did in like direct response, was we have like a testimonial ad where it's like an interview of a paying customer that's like talking about how great Valley Premier Lighting is. And then we run that way. And so the reason I say like the baseline is that 6 steps is like, if you've never run an ad before, then you just rock that. Right. But then like, as I became a better ad buyer, because like, and I'm super transparent about this, like Home Service Accelerator spends $1,250 per day on ads nationwide. Like I have bought probably close to at the time of filming this now, I'm probably approaching $750,000 spent on meta ads across all my businesses. Like probably pretty close to that. I think it was at like 400 something earlier in the year, and we're spending, $36,000 a month in just one business. Like I'm just like a decent ad buyer now. Like I understand it now. And so now I can like kind of experiment a little bit where like we have one in the permanent lighting business where I was like, Jack, take like a old school Christmas light string, and I want you to say out with the old and then pull it. And then as it like snaps, we're going to butt in like the new permanent lighting track. So he says like, what's up, Scottsdale, Arizona, out with the old. And it's clearly Christmas lights. He snaps it and it goes in with the new. And it's like him holding the new track. And it's 6 seconds long. The ad is 6 seconds long, but it's really cheap CPMs, like cost to reach 1,000 people is really cheap because it's 6 seconds long and it converts pretty well. And so like, I'm saying that because like baseline, you run 3 ads, like I talked about with the structure. And then eventually you just like start experimenting with stuff. Cause like the cost of experimentation on Facebook ads is so cheap. Like if you think it's like crazy for us in home services, dude, go talk to an e-com company. Some of these e-com companies are testing like 100 different creative variations a month, like sometimes even more, like where they change one color of the text. Now with Andromeda, it's kind of changed. I'm not going to get into it, but like the algorithm's changed a little bit. They're not doing it quite that way anymore. But regardless, like testing has largely been the rule. And the rule of it is like, you're never going to guess what's going to convert. You have a baseline structure, but you just throw enough shit at the wall that eventually something sticks. And then like, that's what it is. So I'm not emotional about any of the ads. Like the October special we're running right now, where it's like a really aggressive discount special. I filmed 5 unique creatives. One of the 5 has got like $6,800. The other 4 combined have got like maybe $500 spent on it. So it's the same thing. But yeah,
sorry to cut you off, but how soon do you kill an ad inside of the set?
I never turn them off.
Okay.
Ever. Because I don't need to. It's all like if you're doing the ad set, like any budget optimization, like it's automatically going to throw cash into the ad that converts the best.
Okay. All right.
And so then like, and that's how we teach it. That's how everybody should be doing it. But then the beauty of that too is like, not only is that easier for you as the buyer, it's also like just another reason why like the barrier to entry to running Facebook ads has fallen off a cliff. And so like, I don't think that I'm this savvy Silicon Valley entrepreneur. Like Home Service Accelerator's explosion is not because like I just had some vision on a peyote trip in the mountains and like created this crazy thing. Like all Home Service Accelerator is like I was a business owner who hired like 5 or 6 terrible agencies over the years, like maybe even more, and was like, wait, hold on, what are they actually doing now in 2024 and 2025? And then as I looked, it's like, okay, they're writing my copy with ChatGPT. They're writing my text copy with ChatGPT. They're still making me film my own ads myself. So like, I'm already like for the service provider, but now I'm going out and filming the ads because we know video is going to convert better and build brand stronger than still image. Doesn't mean still image is completely dead. We still run some still image, but video is going to be the thing that builds brand better. So now it's like, okay, ChatGPT is writing the copy. I'm going out and filming my own ads. They're scripting the same shit they've given to 500 other businesses. I can find the script. Like I can make the script pretty easy for like what it's going to say out of my mouth. And then now with the targeting being dead, like $1 million a month Facebook ad accounts are doing little to no targeting now. It's all like the ad itself finds the customer for you. And so now if they're not targeting, like in 2020, an agency would test a bunch of different audiences. They'd test conservative Christians. They would test income levels. They would test, interests in vehicles, all this other stuff. That doesn't even happen anymore. And so it's like, what are they doing? And so this is where it gets frustrating because most home service business owners have paid an agency or hired an agency. Like, dude, you run your own. Like, you are exactly what I'm talking about. Your business does over $1 million a year. You run your own, right? Do you still run your own?
No, I've got the guy from Jacob, the guy from Langclair and Growth.
Okay, but you did at one point, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And like, okay, so you got to a point where like, and this is what we talk about in all my content. You got to the point where you did it alone, right? And you cracked it alone, but then your business got to the stage where it's like, okay, paying the good agency, which is probably more expensive than $500 a month, which all the bad ones are, like, is a better use of you and your staff's time at $1 million a year because or whatever you're doing in sales, because their agency fee is a very small percentage of what your sales are. And so that's like the gray area. And so people in Home Service Accelerator are kind of like two different camps. One camp is like $1,000 ad budget, or excuse me, $1,000 agency, $1,500 agency fee on a campaign where they're like, dude, I'm doing 20K a month. I'm only going to spend $40 a day in ads. Doesn't make sense, because you're spending, if you spend $30 a day, 30 days a month, you're spending $900. You're paying an agency $1,500 to do it, or $1,000 to do it. You're spending more on agency fees than you are on eyeballs. And so then it doesn't make sense. But then the other camp is like, dude, we have companies in Home Service Accelerator that are bigger than me, like substantially bigger than me. And they just teach their staff how to do it. Because the other side too is like, when you get good at running creative and creating creative, what ends up happening is your business becomes better at making content. Your business becomes better at making organic content because it starts to pencil. And so now your organic socials are getting better because you're like, damn, I kind of know what I'm doing here. And so what happens is like, now you're like, hey dude, we actually make decent videos now. We have an editor from Fiverr who throws it together for $50. Let's make the greeting video for our website. Right. And then you make a greeting video on your website that's like who you are, what you do, why you're different. And now it's like, now our business has acquired the skill of content creation. And so it's like, it's very interesting where it goes, because like, I don't think that's going away. I don't think the Gary V content volume thing is really going away. I think quality of content is becoming a lot more important with the algorithms. But again, if you get really good at making creative, you are naturally going to be better at understanding what is a good piece of content and what isn't. Because when you make ads, you throw it at the machine. The machine goes, this one was good. People liked this. This one wasn't. People don't like this. Then you just look at the one that they've been like, oh, this is a really good ad. And then you go, oh, great, I can make variations of this. So then you go, okay. So for example, even in Home Service Accelerator at the national level, if you look at my Steve Hunsaker ad library, you'll see like probably close to 50 different creatives. But what's interesting is probably 5 of those creatives get 95% of the spend. The other one's nurture. But what's interesting is again, like, I'm super transparent about all of this. I don't care. I run a business that people like. It's like, I don't care telling the masses that we spend $1,250 a day on ads. Like, I don't care, because the people that buy it, 99% of them are like, this was great. So I don't really care about the back end, like sharing this, because like people buy it and they're happy. I don't really care about giving away the sauce on the back end of the business at all, because I think if anything, it attracts a more educated buyer to Home Service Accelerator anyway. And so what's interesting is if you look at my ads, you'll see me saying the same thing in different settings. And so like one thing you'll see is one of the ads that crushes, I say, there's 3 things in your home service business you need to work on. You need to work on you're running your own Facebook ads. I'll talk about how to do it in the next video. It's a free training. You need to optimize your Google business page. You need to dial in your signage strategy. That's just direct cold traffic to a landing page. It's how I build trust with people. The VSL, like the video sales letter on my landing page for Home Service Accelerator, is free and probably better than 99% of paid courses, like just right there. And so then people are like, oh, interesting. And so when those ads started to work, all I did was took that exact same structure and I just filmed it in different settings. So there's one setting where I'm talking about it right here in a white sweatshirt. There's another setting where I'm on my balcony talking about it, and there's like the mountains of Arizona in the background. There's another setting where I'm sitting on the toilet and the opening hook is like, are your ads shitty? And then I go into the same process, and like that one kind of gets people's attention. And so it's like, but the meat of the ads are the same. And so it's like, once you find the thing that works, you start doubling down on it, and then you just become a better creative creator, whatever else. But then the more educated business owners are like, I don't have time to be a creative person. It's like, do you not? I don't spend that much time on it. And if you don't have time, like Jack, my director of operations, my co-owner of the permanent stuff, Jack in the last year has gone from, and he would say this, like Jack is my favorite person on planet Earth, truly. Like Jack, quite literally, like Jack knows exactly where we're at. Like I would be bankrupt and probably not anywhere near here if it wasn't for Jack. So if I shit on Jack a little bit, he'll understand. Jack was not good at making ads. Like he was not good on camera a year ago. He like got nervous. It wasn't natural to him. Jack, I will send my videographer out to Jack now, and he will rip 4 or 5 creatives a day, and he's better than me at it sometimes. And so my pushback to like any business owners, like even, and I'm not even saying this to just like, oh, join Home Service Accelerator. Like I'm saying this in general. I say the same thing on YouTube. If it's like, oh, I don't have time to do it, then we know where the market's going right now. We know that where the creative world's going right now. We know where social media is going right now. I don't think you have a choice. You better get your director of operations or somebody dialed in on doing it. You better get a UGC creator or something, because this is not going away at all. So that's my rant.
Were you excited about doing it whenever you started, or were you uncomfortable filming?
Yeah, I'm like, there's very few things that God blessed me with a natural God-given ability with. Like one of those things happens to be like, I'm okay at talking. So like, I like attention. I like it. Like I like the attention I get from talking about something that I am passionate about. I like that when people comment like, oh, I think this is great. So I like being on camera. I like speaking at public events. I like speaking on stage. I like that. That fills me up. I know a lot of people it doesn't. So speaking on camera came natural to me. But what's interesting is being good on camera does not necessarily mean that your ads are going to convert better. We have some guys who are terrible on camera, but they look super authentic, that crush ads of people who are like super dialed in and buttoned up. So that's also a very interesting piece of it.
It is an interesting piece.
Yes.
It's a very interesting piece, especially as we keep going into more and more content, more and more AI. I think people just want to see people being themselves.
Yeah, totally.
But to your point, what I will second here is if you are in home service, local service, blue collar business, and you're not doing this, there's going to be somebody in your market who is. And next time you go to the airport, find one person who's looking up from their phone. Just find one.
Yeah, 100%.
Everybody's staring at their phone all day long. And you know, it's funny, like people here like in the local community, like my friends and my like normal friends and family circle be like, oh, I saw your commercial. I'm like, what do you mean commercial? Somebody told me that the other day, and I was like, what are you talking about?
Dude.
Like,
dude.
I saw it on Facebook. I'm like, oh, the ad. Okay. But
I had somebody, I had like a really hot girl come up to me at 2 years ago when I was running my own junk ads. I had like a really hot girl come up to me at a coffee shop and was like, are you the trash guy? And I was like, that's a bummer. That's a bummer. But like, oh, it was real because like she was like, my ads were like Scottsdale local. We were spending $150 a day. Like people are gonna see them, and so she recognized me as the trash guy from one of my funny junk ads, and I was like, don't love that, but like okay, like sure, I'll run with it. But like that's like the local, and this is why I talk about video. Like video builds brand far better than still image builds brand. And so we always tell the story. We had a $30,000 install last year, residential, $30,000 residential install. Their house might as well have been a hotel, but like it was a home. And she was in our CRM that she came from Google Maps, like Google Organic. And then my sales guy gets out and all she can talk about is our Instagram and our Facebook videos. My sales guy's like, what? Interesting. I saw you came from Google. She's like, oh, I see all your guys' funny videos all the time. And then she just Googled us. And so you don't get that from a bunch of still image. You get that, like, you get that attribution of like, we got her foot in the door with like brand omnipresence from a Facebook, Instagram ad, even though it converted from Google, which like leads me to my last point. One of the things that I've been fascinated by about this season is I tapped out how much I could spend on Facebook. Like I can't spend more than $350 a day on Facebook locally or my CPMs will go way up. So I kind of like, I run out of bodies essentially, even with how much creative and then in Google, I uncap my spend in Google. I don't like, I tell them spend $800 a day. They'll never spend $800 a day. There's not enough clicks. So I'm tapped out in Google. So then I went in and started doing these postcards. But one of the things that's interesting is like, I've started to build brand omnipresence because of that. Because I'm on so many different platforms. Like they see me on their Instagram. They see me on their Facebook. They get a postcard from us. They see my 4 wrapped vehicles on the road, all going right around that small little 5-6 square mile area. And so now it's like, dude, it starts to be like this really interesting thing where it's starting to get a little gray on where the leads actually came from outside of the last touch point. And because there's no way for us to like effectively quantify it at this size of our business right now, like massive, like businesses, like $100 million businesses probably have better lead attribution, like life cycle of the job, like using Hyros, all that. I just know first touch, last touch. But that Joe Adams on Twitter said, can you explain further about how you tapped out on Google ads? Yeah, I run them in a certain city, like a certain city and area, and there's quite literally not enough clicks. Like there's not enough people searching for it, so I run out of clicks. So like I'm telling Google, give me $800 worth of clicks, and they're like, dude, we gave you 400. That's all we had for the day, and I'm max bidding compared to the other people. And so that's what I mean on Google. And then Meta, when you make a campaign, you're essentially like, they'll tell you on the right-hand side on Facebook ads, like your estimated audience size is 251,000. So if I'm spending $350 a day and my CPMs are, for every 1,000 people, it costs $100. Like that means that every single day I'm reaching, let me just pull up yesterday's to show it. So like if I'm spending $350 a day, yesterday on my Christmas light campaign, I reached almost 10,000 people. So I spent $321 yesterday and I had 8,900 impressions. And so if I'm getting 8,900 impressions a day, let's just call it 9,000, and it's an estimated audience of 250,000 people, like I'm going to hit every single one of those people by 27 days. So that's like, if I raise my spend to $500 a day, I'm going to reach all those people in 19 days. And so then it doesn't mean like you can't reach more people. Like my impressions are, 8,000 something. My reach is a little bit less, which the difference is like how impressions are how many times your actual ad was seen. Reach was how many individual accounts saw your ads. But yeah, so like there's a point where like me spending $1,000 a day, I'm just going to fatigue the ads way quicker. So that's what I meant by that. To answer that, I saw it pop up in the chat.
Yeah. It's a real thing. We're going through it now too, but we deal on a really, really small market.
Yeah. Really, but there's also something about just like, is it a bad thing necessarily? Like even if your cost per lead comes up, is it a bad thing to be buying mind share from these people all the time?
I don't think so. Like
I don't think so.
People ask me, they're like, why are you've been running ads all summer? I'm like, yeah, like I want to be the first people. I want to be the first company that people think of here. And I just don't even want to give my competitors a chance.
Yeah. Like what is it? Dan Kennedy? The company that wins is the company that spends the absolute most to acquire a customer compared to their competition. Like it's just that. And so if you think about my competitors that are like scratching and clawing to spend $50 a day on Facebook ads. Like it's a competitive sport. I wish them all the best. I do. I wish them all the best, but it's a competitive sport. Like I'm spending 7 times as much as you per day. And then on top of that, your customers are getting my mailers for 6 or 7 straight weeks with my brand on them. Like every single, so they're stacking up on their desk. Most of them are going in the trash, but some of them are stacking up on their desk. And then they're getting my Google ads the second you screw up. So guess who's going to get it? The person who's on the top. So the competitor screws up one time and they're looking for the new girlfriend. Well, I've been the guy best friend for the last 2 years, waiting in the trenches for you to screw up. I'm the guy best friend. So like now I have like brand omnipresence. So what's interesting is like my cost per lead has gone up everywhere, but my mind share in my market has also gone up. And I think that's like very hard to quantify, but it's no coincidence that our organic outpaced our paid for the first time ever in the 2024 season last year. So we acquired more customers from referrals and organic than we did from paid ads for the first time ever. That is like pretty much direct reflection of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes complete sense. So yeah, I was gonna bring up a point. So in August, let's see, and we ask everybody who we have conversations with, where did you hear about us? And even organic website leads will tell our salesperson over the phone or in person, yeah, I see you on Facebook all the time. So this is reinforced in my mind that we need to just be running Facebook ads all the time, because even if people aren't clicking on that right then and there to fill out the form, we're top of mind. So whenever they think about the tree removal service or doing fire mitigation on their property, they're searching for our name. You want to know what else is interesting? And I'm curious to hear where branded search has come in for you. But like our top search right now is just our company name.
I'd have to check. I have no idea. I've never checked, but I bet it's high.
But that happened this year in year 3, and it wasn't year 2 and year 1.
Yeah. Yeah. I would imagine ours is substantially increased because like, just like anecdotally, I hear about it from my sales guys. So like, for example, my sales guy went out to this like ex NBA player's house the other day. He's like an NBA journeyman up in North Scottsdale. And he was like, your owner's Steve, right? And my sales guy was like, yeah. He's like, I've been following his stuff for like the last 2 years. But and then Kyle was like, my sales guy was like, oh, you follow like his personal accounts? And he's like, no, I've just been like paying attention. I've been seeing your guys' ads for like 3-4 years. And so then he was like, finally, I just like Googled you guys and whatever else. And so the guy was like, and the guy even said like, yeah, you guys are the ones that run like you guys are the ones that do like the funny videos. Like I've been seeing it for like 3-4 years. And so my sales guy called me and he was like, you probably want to hear this. It's kind of make you feel good. And so like, that's like, people are paying closer attention than you think, but you also like on one side of my mouth, it's like, they're paying closer attention than you think. And like, you start to build brand presence a little bit, but on the other side of my mouth, it's like, you still like, you gotta hammer them and like, yeah.
If you take the foot off the gas, it's just like,
yeah. It was really interesting. It was a very interesting thing to hear. And I'm not saying it to like flex. We actually didn't even get the job from him. I don't think, at least he hasn't closed yet. But like, that was really interesting to be like, that the guy had notably mentioned he had seen our stuff for like 2-3 years. Like that was interesting to hear.
Yeah, it's super interesting. And like, I think the point I'm trying to make here for listeners is, even if your leads are not coming directly from Facebook or Meta, they're still going to work for you. Excuse me. Like they are still working for you in the background. Like while, even if you're not attributing the lead specific to the numbers and the metrics. And that's, you've made that point a couple times here. It's hard to quantify.
Yeah, I've thought about like getting Hyros for my Christmas light business to try to like see the journey better. But at the end of the day, like what is that data really going to change outside of like being content for like this context? But yeah, and the other thing that's really interesting is, again, we talked about like pay attention to the guys who are way bigger than you. One of the things that I think is really fascinating is like you look at like the massive home service business. So like the Gettle plumbing or HVAC, whatever they do, electrical, whatever. You look at like A1 Garage Door. You look at like all these other guys. They all billboards to the nines, super expensive truck wraps, like not going cheap, kick charge branded truck wraps, vehicle wraps, all this other stuff. Like radio, they're doing radio in 2025. They're doing streaming ads. And I think like there's this balance where those guys like take like A1, for example. A1's in Phoenix. Like they've probably maxed out their profitability on Google pay-per-click. Like they've probably maxed out what they could do on Meta if they're even still running Meta. Like they've probably maxed out most of this other stuff. And so what happens to like every brand, regardless of size, is like eventually it changes from direct response into more brand awareness. And like, how do I become the first one on their mind? And so this is why I think the beauty of hyper-targeted Facebook ads are so good, is they at a small scale do two things at once. And so the two things at once is generate leads and then build brand simultaneously. Generate leads, first name, last name, email, get the form filled out. And then they build your brand simultaneously because you're just popping up in that area. And so the reason I say it kind of is like a snowball, and we talk about this in HSA a lot, is like you run the ads in a targeted smaller area, like a 4 or 5 mile radius. Then what's going to happen is you're going to get jobs in that area. So now they're seeing your ads in a small area, and they're seeing your vehicles in a small area, and they're seeing you do stuff for their neighbors in a small area. The world is not that big. Like, it's not that big. I have had 5 text messages this season of my trucks out on the road from my friends. I do not have a massive business. I have 4 vehicles on the road. My friends have seen them in traffic 5 times, and that's just the people who texted me. So like, people are seeing it. People are seeing the ads. They're seeing your trucks out on the road. They're seeing all this other stuff. And so it's like, if you're not doing just like the basic stuff, like get the vehicle wrap, put the A-frame out, do the yard signs in every yard, do the Facebook ads locally, do the Google pay-per-click, like you're going to get your lunch eaten by the guys who are. Like if I opened a garage door company tomorrow, I would not go after Phoenix proper, the entire market, while A1 Garage Door has 19 separate Google business pages out here. I would pick a small subsection and I would concentrate there and then move on. Like, you're not going to beat the 10,000-pound gorilla going toe-to-toe with them.
I've never looked at their Google Maps strategy.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Phoenix. So how do they name their Dude,
I don't even know. I don't like. I asked him about it briefly. He had some.
Oh, they do.
I mean, dude, the dude is like the dude built publicly, like especially the last couple of years, built publicly and like gets crap for it. And I'm like, dude,
what do you mean?
Like, did you see you're not on Twitter?
Well, I am. I just
yeah, not lately. Dude, like one of the guys, I really like his content. He's an HVAC guy. I can't remember his name. I think, hold on. He's I quote tweeted his thing on Friday. He's one of the best follows on X, and I've never even talked to him. The guy's name is, hold on one sec. Let me find it. It's worth looking for.
So it's interesting because they have their Google business profiles named all as A1 Garage Door Service.
Yeah, dude, I don't know how he did it, but I mean, of course they found a way to do it.
For sure.
Right. Okay. I think his name's Paul. Does that sound right? Paul, a big HVAC, like he this is gonna bother me. I need to find it. Somebody in the chat talk about like somebody in the chat give me the name. He's one of the biggest HVAC companies, I think, out there. He's the one that had the viral tweet about HVAC sales going down in Q3 2025 and 2024 a little bit ago. Chris Hoffman. He doesn't even follow me back, but he is a CEO to 750 people. I think he's an HVAC. Anyway, he tweeted, my friend sold his garage door business for over 500 million in 2022. They were doing about 130 million in revenue, residential service and replacement, not new construction. And I quote tweeted it because in the replies, like, there's a lot of positivity, but there's a lot of people like, bullshit. No, he didn't. Like, that's no way. I know a guy who owns a construction company that did this. There's no way he got that multiple. But and it's like, dude, like if like every single piece of what that story is in books and on the internet, like it's out there. And I think it's so crazy to me that like that guy gave so much away for free, like so much. Like I've gone to even his paid like I went to his conference in Vegas, and like, dude, the amount of people, like the amount of absolute monster home service businesses that guy gets in a room for his conferences. Like I was one of like the middle or smaller ones there, and like it's just crazy to me. Like you don't need to guess. Like in 2025, there's people out there with businesses that big that are writing books about how they did it. And like doing conferences that are $1,000 for a weekend where you can like, dude, the best thing from that conference was he got up there. He got his entire C-suite did a panel, like a home service business with a C-suite. And it was like 6 or 7 people up there. And I learned more about like my world was just like shattered about like what is possible in a trade business of any kind. Cause like his CFO was the absolute dog animal at being a CFO. Like he was the small entrepreneur. 100% of his focus was on being a CFO. And then it was like his COO was up there, and his COO was like this really cool, these really nice dude who they acquired his company, and then he stepped into like a COO role at A1. And he's talking about just the operations of the business, where this brain who had his own massive garage door business came into there And like, he's running just the operations of that business, using 100% of his brain power to just run that business's operations. And it was just incredibly, incredibly inspirational to see, and aspirational. Cause it's like, I think that guy building publicly and being so clear about it publicly has like shattered glass ceilings for a lot of home service businesses. And I think it's insane that on the Chris's tweet, like, how many people were like, that's complete BS. I'm like, no, it's not. Like Tommy Mello's story about A1 is very public. And to be clear, Chris Hoffman was tweeting about Tommy. That's what it was. But yeah, it's insane. Insane. Anyway, that was my rant about that.
I'm just looking at the Google business profile strategy.
Isn't it insane?
Yeah.
They use
300.
He told me something about Pin Parrot was like a company he really liked. It's called Pin Parrot. They're like, I don't know if it's a software. I've never looked into it. Like, I think Bodie and Stryker are like an absolute no-brainer for GMBs. I don't know if Pin Parrot's a software or whatever it is, but like, if anybody's listening and you're like, you have a business that does like a little bit more than like, I would say like probably do like 500,000 sales a year or more to make it make sense. Like Bodie and them for the Google Maps SEO is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just built another website with them.
Yeah. They're just like good people too. Like, I met them through Twitter, and like they've become like, I'm speaking at one of their things in February. Like, they just become good friends.
Oh, we're meeting in person then.
Oh, you're going too? Yeah. Yeah.
Sweet, man.
Yeah. It's
hey,
been,
buddy, if you're listening, do you have any info on that?
Austin, do you have anything to rant on for like 20 seconds so I can run over here and pee? I have to pee so bad. I'm about to. Okay. So you talk about something. Let me go pee for like 2 seconds. I'm about to explode.
I'm going to jump in the chat. Who's got a question for Steve? I just genuinely love hosting this stuff. It's super fun to get to talk to people on the podcast. And if you guys haven't been following Steve for a while, he's doing some good stuff on YouTube. He's putting a lot of stuff out about running Facebook ads, about speed to lead. And I have enjoyed watching his content here recently. This growth is attributed to a combination. Yeah. What other questions you guys have in the comments? I think Steve's been super dialed on Facebook ads and speed to lead here. And so, yeah, my two main points coming into here was I just want to pick Steve's brain on Facebook ad strategy, how he thinks about filming creatives. And I think what's really interesting is that Steve has done this with a lower ticket item. So Facebook ads have been pretty easy for us in our business because we have such a high ticket service. So if any of the land clearing guys are listening to this and you're over on the owner ops group, like, you know that if you've watched any of the videos in there, we're all in on Facebook ads because it's such a high ticket service. And so it makes complete sense to run Facebook ads for that. And I just love how Steve has qualified, and I'm going to take a few tidbits from that and go update our inbound lead form, because what I've noticed here, since we've exhausted our audience, and like, we're in a super small market here. Somebody the other day was like, man, I don't know if I only have like 300,000 people in this market. I'm like, dude, I got 30,000 people in my market. So don't talk to me about small market. What we've seen from our ads is that as we've exhausted the audience, like it's pushing wider and wider and wider. And we have some geographical constraints until we go expand and build our next crew in our next location. And we have this, we were talking about this. If you guys are joining late, Steve and I were talking about the operational constraints of building seasonal businesses. So ours is similar. We do have more months than Steve does. He's got to get his in 2 months.
Unfortunately, like even still, it's like 2 months, but it's really like 40 days because it's everybody wants it in November. Actually, it's like 30 days, like November 15th to December 10th is like really when everybody wants it. Yeah, it's not fun.
Found Steve on Instagram, stoked he's on X.
Dude,
do you all promote your businesses on X? The answer is no. Like X for me is just a way to meet other people like Steve so we can talk shop behind the scenes or on a live stream. And I don't remember if we were on record or not, but my whole reason for doing the podcast, like, is purely like my motives in this are literally to talk to other guys who are pushing the limits in their business, do it in a way where I can learn some cool things to push myself, and then do it in a public format to where other people who are in our industries can learn the same things. And so
Yeah.
I hope that you guys are getting out of these live streams.
Yeah, I also just like I naturally gravitate towards like there's so many people making content, and I think very few people make it transparently.
Yeah.
And like talk about the bad. So I always gravitated towards your stuff because like I'd watched some of your stuff and some of your other interviews and like very little guru energy to it, which is like something that I'm even constantly aware of it myself because like on one side you can talk about like being an industry expert all day long in like a certain field or whatever. But I think it's like if you're going to go down the like talk about business path, I think you got to share like the stuff that's really happening. You know, like one of the things I talked about the other day was like we we hired 15 guys. We were down to 13 on day 2 of the first crowd. I think we were down to 12 on day 3. And it's like I think if somebody watches like a guy who makes a bunch of content about home service businesses on X or YouTube or whatever else, and they don't share that, then the people who are your audience are going to be like, well, maybe I just suck. It's like, no, dude, that's part of the game. Like that is 100% part of the game. Share the suck. Yeah. Like, yeah, dude, I don't know. Like I shared yesterday, like we were kind of struggling in sales, like not struggling, but like it's stressing me out for October because we just have so much bandwidth with the install crews this year that I want to fill their schedules. And then I think today we closed like 30 something thousand today. So I guess it worked out. But yesterday I was losing sleep.
Dude, like small business or entrepreneurship, the highs are so high and the lows are so low. And I'll tell you one thing that I was thinking about last week, maybe it was a week before. It felt hard. Like for whatever reason, everything felt hard. And it was just like I was in the trough. And I've been there multiple times. And in the past, I think early on in business, that's where you just are like, man, the idea is wrong. The idea is off. Or, you just listen to this devil on your shoulder that tells you, oh, you're not good enough. You can't do it. Like you should just quit now and go back to do this other thing. And
Right.
then I've just learned multiple times that whenever there is something that's pushing hard against, like you feel that resistance, there's usually something good on the other side. And so I'm curious if you felt that too.
Yeah. Like the most like lucrative couple months that I've felt financially came after the worst couple months. So like depending on how far you want to zoom out. So like for me,
Go for it. Go for it. I'm going to pee too.
no, please do. Yeah. For anybody listening, and yes, I had to pee when I got on with Austin, and we've been talking for an hour and 53 minutes. So I really had to pee now. So thank you guys for being patient with me as I piddled. But yeah, to go off what Austin said, like I've been pretty like in the old YouTube videos, I've talked about it a few times. I know some people watch my YouTube, some people don't. I almost went bankrupt at the middle of 2022, end of 2021, whatever, between my second and fourth, at the end of my third Christmas season, I almost went bankrupt. And I almost went bankrupt for a variety of different reasons. The main one was I was a terrible business owner. The other reasons were things out of my control. My brother died on October 10th or something like that season. That certainly didn't help with productivity, flying to Seattle to help my parents book a crematorium and all this other stuff. But what Austin asked was, he was like, why? Like he felt these stages of like where it felt like he was like, pushing a rock up a mountain. And then like when you get to that friction point, typically that's where you're like, you're close a lot of the time. And so for me, it was like in that December, we had sold, more revenue than ever before. That was 3-4 years ago, whatever that is. 3-4 seasons ago. We had sold however much revenue, more than we did the year prior. But like I actually made substantially less profit. So much less that the only reason I didn't file for bankruptcy, like truly like personal bankruptcy, because all of my vehicles were tied to my personal name and all that jazz, was I was able to convince enough of our customers in January to let me take 50% deposits for the next season so that I could stay afloat. And then on top of that, I paid rent on a credit card because, yes, my apartment could let me do that that entire year for like a 9%, 12% surcharge or something like that. So that's what I did. And then the point of that was like I was laying in bed like counting how many payrolls I could make if I sold my car cash. And then 3 years later, I'm not pretending that I'm rich now by any means, but like I don't have any debt. I'm debt free, and I am going to Disney World next week. So it's not all bad these days, But yeah, it's awesome. You're exactly right. Like it was pretty bleak. And so if you look at like that moment where it was bleak, and then you're like, if you were to tell Steve at that moment, like, hey, 2.5, 3 years from now, you'll be all right. You'll be debt free. You'll have 2 businesses that are doing okay. I probably wouldn't have believed you. But yeah, it was the darkest. What is it? The night is always darkest before the dawn, or something like that. That was definitely true in my case. What was your situation, Austin? Was it just sales pressure or what?
Anytime I like do a big push on making a decision, and yeah, like for us, we had to make a big decision on pulling the team back together to focus on this one service, right? And sometimes it just feels like when you're in business, it's like, okay, let's go do these things. So you're spread really, really wide, and then harness everything back in. And so sometimes there's time in between where it just takes time to kick back in, right? It's not like you can just make that decision and change.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine, like, and to your point, man, like there are so many other people on here who could talk about this and probably talk about this at a much greater magnitude. But even from starting the business as just like a solo owner operator, it's like, if you want to make a change, you can do that. You can flip. But then once you start hiring people and hiring a team, if you want to make a change, you have to now go make that change first for yourself and decide that this is the route that we're going to go, and then go deliver that message. And not only deliver the message, but do it in a way that gets buy-in to get the team back on board, and then be patient with the change to take place. And so, yeah.
I mean,
I'm just learning, like, limit the amount of change, like pick one thing, go in and just do the freaking thing.
Yeah. And it's like, I mean, dude, in Fortune 500 companies, there's entire departments in charge of change implementation and management. That's like what they do. Yeah. It's like all their job is like to like basically make like drastic changes and implementations easier on staffs. So, I mean, yeah, there's that. The other thing that I would like hit on too is like change is important if you feel like the writing's on the wall. I will say the other thing is like Take Home Service Accelerator, for example. We traded flat. Like our sales were flat from April. We had a massive month in May, and then we flatlined and declined in June, July, and August, or June and July. It's a 90 days of like, where I'm like, I'm doing all the right things. I have a bunch of happy customers and I'm doing less sales. And then like got difficult, but I was like, do not change the offer. Do not change what we're selling. Like people are telling us it is changing their business. That people are telling us that this is sauce. And then, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, we need to do something different for me to get, whatever else. And then like, I kept listening to I kept hearing the replays of like the Hormozi videos talking about like change is so expensive and all of this stuff. Like you don't understand how expensive change is on your business. And all you see is the positives. You don't see any of the negatives. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to wait it out. And then like from that moment on, like the sales, like what ended up happening was my organic kind of took off. And so people like started watching my YouTube and stuff more, which generated a lot more like quality customers. But my point of that is like very easy to just like the second you plateau a little bit is like, oh, I need to go do something different. And I really like this young guy that's in my market. He's like maybe 5-6 years younger than me. He owns like an agency of some form. I'm not going to go into any more detail because people I know who he is. But he showed me the other day, and I'm not going to share anything about him, so there's no way you could trade it back to him. But he showed me his Stripe the other day, and he showed me like when you open Stripe and you can see like a year, right? Or you can zoom out and you can see like, and it shows you a graph of your sales per month. And so it'll show you like, you know, the graph, you know, if March was 50K, it's here, and then 40K April's here, and then 60K June's here, and it shows you your graph. And he shows me this graph, and he goes like, yeah, man, like, I don't know, I tried something new, and like, I'm really struggling. I did 10K last month. And I said, show me the 1 year. And he shows me the 1 year, and he went 40K like May, 50K June, 55K July, like 52K August, 59 or 60K September. Or no, it was to August. So like ended in August. And then in September, he did 10K. And I looked at his map and I said, I don't need to know, like, I looked at his chart and I said, like, I don't need to know what you changed. I just need to tell you, like, what you did was wrong. Like, you had grown the business for 4 straight months and you got antsy because it wasn't fast enough for you. And you recreated everything. And then you did 10K the next month. So you had like, you essentially slashed by, I mean, basically like non-existent grow. Like you basically just went back to zero because you got antsy. And I looked at it, was like, I don't need to know the story. I said, were you profitable? Yeah. Were you like 30, 40? Yeah. Then why did you change something? Oh, it was like, it was this. And we wanted to try going like national with this. And I said, don't do that. Like you just grew for 4 or 5 straight months and then was like, time to go chase the new woman in the red dress. Time to go chase a new offer. And then now you did not calculate the cost of change. And the cost of change was $45,000 a month that you lost because you wanted to go chase a woman in the red dress while you were still growing. And so I think change is important, but also I think staying power is more important. And like staying power in my business is like, dude, it is substantially easier to run Valley Christmas in year 6 than it was in year 1 and 2, because I have 600, and I tweeted yesterday, now we've sold like 30 something, 5,000, like $640,000 of booked sales this year on October 20th. Last year on October 20th, it was like 205,000. Substantially easier to run a business when I have $600,000 on the books already. It's like substantially easier to financially model that than it is to like hope that you're going to sell something. And so it's not because I'm such a great entrepreneur. It's because I've been doing the same thing for 6 straight years now. Like I watched a lot of my competitors like go like, oh, I'm going to start adding reindeer to my displays. I'm going to start adding like this. I'm going to start doing like, I could make a little bit more money if I started syncing lights to music and color. It's like, sure, man, maybe you did. Probably not. Like we've just been doing the same thing and optimizing it for 6 years now. Same brand, same thing, few additions here or there. But like, I think there's a lot to just not chasing the woman in the red dress in this world, especially. And a lot of the time in home services, that comes down to like not adding a service.
Yeah, that's a great point to make right there. Let's do this. Let's do one more. Let's do one more round of one more.
Dude, I just opened the Twitter. We had 300 people on here.
Let's
320. That's a lot of people.
Why don't you give those 320 people?
They're all working, listening to it quietly. That's what's happening.
Give those 300 people the top 3 things. The top 3 most important things to do with your Google business profile. Ooh. If you're in home service.
Shout out to Bodie. Bodie put me onto this. All of my Google business content is just essentially a echo chamber of my calls with Bodie.
I even use their videos in my school group. I'm like, hey man, I'm just gonna recreate this stuff, or I could just like, I could text Andy. I'm like, you cool if I just like promote you guys in here? Because I'm just really regurgitate. He's like, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay. So 3 things to improve a Google business page. Number 1, get a pin. Find a way to get an address pin. Like, if you really do the math is like go find a $500 a month warehouse in your area, like a small space that you can get mail to, maybe a Regis, maybe something like that. Find a way, because I'm telling you, you'd spend $1,000 on ads. Like you'd spend $1,000, $2,000 on ads per month, but people won't go get a pin for $500 to $1,000 a month just to have an address because you can't get out of your house anymore. So that'd be number one, because like on Friday, we sold a $9,000 job that was Google Business Organic. $9,257, something like that. Google Business Organic. Free money. Anything better than a paid job is a free job. So that's one. So the pin. The other thing is, like, if you look at my Valley Christmas page and you look at like my most relevant reviews, you'll see a trend. And what Google says is most relevant is largely, like, the majority of them are photo reviews. So, like, don't guess. Google's algorithm says most relevant. That is Google telling you, like, this is what we like. We like these reviews. What all, like, 7 out of 10 of those reviews have in common? They're photo reviews. So I think that's a huge portion too. And I think a lot of people sleep on that. And then the third thing, and this was crazy. Bodie and I were going to make a video about this, and then I got really busy. So I was ranking number 1, like 1 and 2 in all of Scottsdale, Paradise Valley, and Arcadia in my market for like Christmas light installation, commercial Christmas light installation, Christmas light installation in Scottsdale, Christmas light installation in Paradise Valley. The one term that was evading me was installers. So like Christmas light installers. For some reason, I just didn't have that keyword in any of my stuff. So I was like not ranking. And what I did was I made like, and again, this is just like me sharing what worked for me. This is not necessarily advice, but maybe it'll just point you in the right direction. Dude, I made a update where I used Christmas light installers and like the keyword Paradise Valley, Scottsdale. So I made like an update that mentioned Christmas light installers, holiday light installers. And then I made a service, like a product service thing. And it was Christmas light installers, full temporary Christmas light installers everywhere. And dude, let me pull up the SEMrush report so that I could just prove how insane this was. Dude, it went from unranked to like number 1.
Did
like,
you do the service and the product thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let me find it.
And then link back.
Yeah. It was like holiday light installers. Let me find it here. It's gonna take me a second.
So Bodie's been on the podcast before, and he shared this as a strategy, and I meant to go do it immediately after that podcast. And you know how it goes. It's like
you get busy,
and stop thinking. It was like a year later.
Okay.
I thought about it again, and I did it, and it's it works,
dude. Okay, I found it. This is insane. Okay, let me share my screen. But again, this is why I think our content sells, because like we're like people enjoy listening to this kind of stuff because this is very real. Like this is exactly what I did, and I fixed it, and you can see it in the data. So it's July 29th, right? Christmas light installers. I was absolutely cooked. I could not rank anywhere. Like, I don't know what it was. Like Christmas light installers, I was cooked. I make the change with Bodie on like August 5th or something like that. We start like, oh, weird pop-up. Then August 12th, boom. Like, this is like 2 weeks after making those changes.
Crazy.
Dude, but what's like crazy is like, look at like everything else. Everything else I was printing the whole time. Like, we've had like a bunch of competition open up in this area, so life goes on. Like, we're even doing better now, so I guess it doesn't even matter. Like, see that? Like, we're still cranking. Like, we started to lose some market share for a little bit there in one of these rankings. And then like in July, we started to lose a little bit on this. What is this? Christmas light installation. And then boom. Dude, I am number 1 and number 2 literally everywhere. So
does SEMrush give you like, does it replace Ahrefs?
I don't even know what
for keyword research?
I don't know. I've just been a SEMrush guy. Bodie said something like I shouldn't use SEMrush. I don't know. I like what it looks like. I don't know.
Bodie sent me a SEMrush report yesterday, though. So
I don't remember what it was. I don't remember exactly what he said, but close enough.
But that's what you use to track your Google Business Profile.
Yeah, and then if I like have a call with Bodie and we're bored, he'll send me something. But for the most part, yeah.
Nice. Anything else you want to share on Google Business Profile?
No, the only thing I want to share is I'm really proud of this, even though we don't get any commercial work or very little commercial work. We get some bars. Can you see my screen? I think you have to add it.
Yep.
I do love how we rank for commercial Christmas light installation. I do love that. And like someone came in and like started encroaching on my turf in September. Like I don't know what happened, but then we start getting it back. We're back, but we're fighting. Like I'm fighting for placement for somebody. So somebody else is doing some SEO out here or something. But I like where we're at. So
they're listening right now too.
I know. They'll probably do some, but whatever else. It'll happen. People are going to find the info. Very few implement it, but people find the info either way. That's like the main things. Those are the photos, get a pin, and then, I mean, honestly, staying power. The reason I say staying power is so interesting is Valley Christmas Lights is the brand I've had for 6 years. Valley Premier Lighting is the new brand. Valley Christmas Lights ranked higher for permanent lighting keywords faster than the new GMB does. That's all about permanent lighting. So that's also an interesting thing is like staying power Google really likes too. It's like Valley Christmas ranks really high for permanent Christmas light keywords and Valley Premier doesn't. And that's all Valley Premier's page is built on is doing permanent Christmas lights. So staying power matters too.
So you have 2 websites for the 2 different services.
Yeah, I operate them. They're employed, they're same employees, completely different, separate backends.
Do you have this is in the weeds. Do you have 2 GHL sub accounts for that, or do you run all leads into 2 pipelines?
Yeah, 2 pipelines. So we have a VPL pipeline and a VCL pipeline. Then we have a dedicated permanent light salesperson. Then we have 3 temporary lighting salespeople as well.
How about this? 1 or 2 jobber accounts?
1 jobber account. It says Valley Christmas / Valley Premier Lighting. I hate it, but operationally, I did not want to go down the path of the alternative.
Yeah, it's a big lift.
Yeah,
it's a big lift.
Yeah,
and in the moment, it seems like, oh, it's not going to be that big of a deal. It's actually going to make it better.
No, I knew it was going to slow down my sales team too much, so I didn't do it.
Yeah,
dude,
cool.
I hope this helps some people.
I hope so too. Anybody? Do you all post Google updates frequently?
I need to be better at it, to be honest with you.
Same.
I just bought a bunch of backlinks from Bodie and them, so that helps. I know that's like traditional SEO, but like I bought a bunch of backlinks from Striker, and I just like the way they do business. Is it going to make a difference for me? I don't know. It probably will, but I like the way they do business, and I like if I'm going to do SEO stuff, I'm going to do it with Striker.
Yeah.
But again, like most of the SEO can be DIY'd until you get to the point where you can afford Striker or you can afford companies like that. And that's a distinction that a lot of people don't seem to understand. It's like the only reason I'm using Striker is because like we're going to do $1.1 million in sales in 2 months, 2.5 months.
Well, it's that, or like, I think if you have cash to invest, it could be good.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like good right out the gate.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like if yes. So like, if you came in and you had and you have a nice little war chest that you're allocating to your business, sure. You know what's funny is maybe it's just like maybe it's I don't know my audience, whatever else. Like I tend to attract much more of like an owner op and like bootstrapped business owner than I do like guys going to now. Last couple of months it's changed a little bit, but a lot of my audience resonates with the fact that I built mine with like no money, so that like kind of resonates with my people. But plenty of ways to skin a cat. I don't know. I do it that way.
So let me ask you this though. If you come in with cash, but you only have enough to, let's say you got like 36K marketing budget, where do you allocate that right out the gate? And you're starting from ground up. 3K a month. How do you allocate that?
Facebook ads will give me more leads than Google will. And because there's more leads, I know long-term I'm building like a pretty good mailing list. I would go, let me do the math. I would go DIY Facebook ads at $50 a day. That puts me at $1,500 a month. And then if I was in a business that could do LSAs, I would do that for $1,000 to $1,500 a month. If it was penciling, I would kill it if it doesn't after 2-3 weeks, pretty quick. And then I would DIY my SEO. My Maps SEO, because that's like how quick you can get it. That's what I would do, because the way I look at it is like, yes, I'm paying for most of those leads up front, but what's more important to the SEO long term? It's unique reviews and frequency. So if I look at it that way, yes, could I sign up for Bodie and them for like $2,500 a month? Yes, but with $3,000 a month, I think you're better off getting your pin, getting your spot, flooding with photo reviews, because you're getting frequency of jobs faster than you would be the other route. What do you think?
I would for sure drop a Google business profile at a pin.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Well, that was free. So
yes. And if I had to pay for an office address to get that, I would do so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like find a, I mean, office real estate after COVID is, you can make a deal, right? People have offices open in the crappy office park.
Dude, I have a Scottsdale legitimate warehouse, and it is not very expensive by the airport. Like, it's not that expensive. Now, people in New York or whatever are laughing at me, but yeah, where I'm at, it's not that expensive.
I would get the Google business profile for sure. I would go print 500 flyers with my service and phone number on it, and I would knock doors until I got, well, I would flip same with you. I'd flip $50 a day of Facebook ads on. The only issue, and curious to hear your feedback on this, I think your Facebook ads convert way better after you have Google business reviews, because people end up going and Googling you. So like I just
need data to back that up, but I probably agree with it.
I wouldn't have any expectations in the beginning of Facebook ads is all I'm trying to say. Yeah. But I would literally go hustle as hard as I could, knocking doors, hand out the flyers. It's literally just like, hey, my name's Austin. I started a tree service business. If you or any of your neighbors ever need it, here's my number. Just give me a call. How about that tree right there? Want me to knock it out? And then I'd just be like, I'll give you a crazy deal for this. And I would do it for a crazy deal in exchange for a 5-star review. And I'd get the 5-star review.
I like that. I agree. I think that's great. I'm a diva, and I door knocked for 3.5 years. And I told myself I would never knock a door again when I started the Christmas light business. So I think you're right, like for the listeners, but I will not lie. I will never, ever knock a door again. Ever.
So here's the only reason I make the point. It's that I see way too many people like wanting to jump into this digital ad stuff. And like, I would be willing to bet you had some stories early on when you were starting where you were just like, I just had to buckle down and go get the next job and figure out a way to do it. Yes, no?
Dude, I wish I could make myself look better and be like, oh, I door knocked, but when my back was against the wall. Dude, no, I advertised to a fault in my first year. I spent too much on ads. Like, I cranked Google pay-per-click in year one till the cows came home. I paid a Facebook agency. They weren't even good. They're not even in business anymore. So that'll tell you how good they were. Google pay-per-click was like all of my business, all of it in year one. And then it just kind of snowballed from there.
Nice.
But no, as far as customer acquisition, it was never for Christmas lights. It was never. Now for junk removal, I said yes to a few jobs I absolutely should not have because I was broke. Like, that was real. Like cleaning rat infested alleys for $500 with snow shovels and like having to put like the little clothespin on my nose. Like, yeah, those were my like trench stories, but never door knocking to get jobs. My trench story is like, I've been seeing this girl off and on for a little bit this last month or so, but she was asking about like, used to pick up people's trash, like that's what I did. Like, I was telling her like, dude, I was literally like, I wasn't a junk removal guy because like, I wasn't getting like nice, fancy junk removal jobs. I was picking up people's trash, like hoarders' trash, for like 2-3 years while trying to make rent. Like, because I didn't make a lot of money in Christmas lights till like year 4 or 5. So in the off season, I was picking up people's trash. Like, dude, like I was moving heroin needles without PPE. Like,
gross.
Like, I was roaches. I was like the nastiest people you'd ever see in your life were watching me pick up their trash as they were getting like about to be evicted. Like, I got it out of the mud in that context, but I never. So when I say I'm a diva because I didn't door knock, dude, no one has a worse, like, in my opinion, like a more like gross rags to no longer rags story than me picking up like roach infested heroin needle trash for 2 years.
That's gross.
Dude.
That's gross.
Dude, there was one, and we
didn't know this about you. Whenever you said earlier that you were the girl asked you if you were the trash guy. I didn't really know.
Yeah, I was a dude. Junk removal was like a big deal to me for like 2.5, 3 years. Dude, there's one, I'll never forget it. We get to this lady's house. She's big old fat lady. She's like it looked like she was getting evicted, like whatever else you want to call it. Like looked like she was getting evicted. She was very upset, whatever. She was clearly on the hook for the trash at her place. And she had not taken her garbage out in probably a year. So what she was doing was every time the trash was going out, they had like a cement wall yard and an alley. So it was like their house and then the cement wall, and there's probably a 5-foot gap. And she was just putting the trash bags in the alley for a year. And so a year's worth of household trash in Arizona 110-degree heat for a year was adding up. And I was like close to, this was when I was paying rent on a credit card. Like this was down and out. This was 2021, 2022, early 2022 maybe. And she was like rude to me about the quote. And I was like, okay. And she like beat me up on the price. And I let her beat me up on the price because I was so broke. So I did this entire alley clean out for maybe a couple $100. And like, I'm picking up garbage bags that have melted in the sun for a year. And like the trash is falling out of the bottom. The juices are like dripping down my arm, into my armpit, down my shirt. Like the smell is like the worst smell I've ever smelled. Rats are running out of the bags. Like giant rats are running out of the bags. And I remember like being halfway through and being like, how did I went to college? Like I did $100,000 in sales and Christmas lights in my first year. Like I thought this was over. Like I thought I was rich. And dude, like nothing ever comes close to like stressing me out now because of that. Like bad ad days, bad sales days. I'm like, at least I'm not picking up rat nests with a snow shovel and like Home Depot gardening gloves. At least I'm not doing that. So no door knocking, but I did do that for a long time.
All right. Well, let's end on that gross note right there.
Let's end on that lovely story. That feel good story.
He literally was the trash guy. He says some hot girl in Arizona was asking him if he was the trash guy, and he literally was the trash guy.
I was.
You were. Steve, this has been great. It's been too much fun. I always learn so much from you whenever I talk to you. So yeah, thanks for sharing what you share. And yeah, I appreciate you making time here to do this.
Dude, I appreciate it, man. I think your content is some of the best in the game, man. I appreciate how genuine and real it is. So keep it up. I'll come on anytime.
Sweet. Thanks, man.
Yeah, dude.
Well, listeners, thanks again for listening. This is I'm not even gonna do like a podcast X. This is just a live stream. So if you're tuning in on X or YouTube, thanks for tuning in. Steve and I will probably do more of these.
For sure.
If you guys like this stuff, I mean, plenty of people chiming in here. So let us know. Steve's on X. I'm on X too. And so just let us know what topics. I mean, specifically, if you guys are joining late, Steve's really good at running ads. He's really good at building systems. And so that's the baseline of where our conversations are going to keep going. If there's anything else that you have specific questions on, just reach out to us and we'll cover it next time.
Peace out.